Good evening, and welcome to Science and Sorcery, the show where science communicators play Dungeons and Dragons to raise money for charity. My name is Dr. Vaidman. I am your host as always, and tonight we have our very first charity one-shot of 2023. Air horns, applause, light show, whatever. We're working on the production value in the background. You might see some updates in the near future. I'm incredibly excited for this one. We're doing another randomly generated characters take on a pre-written one-shot module. This time we're traveling to the Candlekeep for Shemshine's Bedtime rhyme. I don't know what it's about. I'm very excited to find out. I was just present as the players were literally rolling their random characters 15 minutes ago, and it's going to be very, very silly. And I hope you have a good time. But in order to have a good time, for you to have a good time, we need a cast. And first of all, in this cast, we need a dungeon master. And I'm incredibly excited to have back a good friend of the show, the wonderful Kat Phillips from Kat Does Maths. Kat, are you here?
Hello.
Kat is here. Hi.
I'm here. I'm here.
Welcome.
Oh, it's so exciting.
You know what's going to happen.
Yep.
Someone on Twitter called this their favorite one-shots.
Okay.
So, I'm very curious. I'm curious. I don't know if they're watching, so no pressure.
Okay.
You'll be fine. If anything goes wrong, it'll be the player's fault for this one. What can the people expect? Chaos?
So much chaos. Either intentional or otherwise. I think I'm planning for every.
Yeah.
Just all.
Everything. Yep. Will there be quality?
Oh,
we can never promise quality on this show. What kind of quality? That's the real question, isn't it?
Yeah, there will be a lot. There'll be some bedtime rhymes. It's going to be great.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm looking forward to it. Shall we meet the players?
I think we should. I think we
meet
should.
The players. Our first player, you may know because they're a fantastic person who did the art for the last randomly generated character one shot, as well as for the Search for the Mirror mini campaign. It is the fantastic MJ Anderson. Very, very excited to have you here, MJ. Welcome to the show.
Very excited to be here.
Good. Have you looked at your character sheet yet?
I have.
You have no words. Do you know what your character's capable of?
Not a lot with those stats.
Okay, brilliant. That's what we like to hear. Now, we're not going to throw you into this on your own, of course. We are also joined by the founder and CEO of Geekoscopy, someone who I've been following on Twitter for a while. If you haven't yet, you absolutely should. The fantastic Dr. Yanas Kiston, joining us all the way from South Africa. Fellow fish scientist, I believe.
Indeed, yes.
Very good.
Thanks for having me.
We love having fish scientists on this show because most of the people like birds too much. Yeah. Have you looked at your character sheet?
I have, yes.
Okay. Do you know what your character is capable of?
I know what they are capable of.
Okay. So we've got one character who's capable and one who isn't.
I know what
50-50.
They're capable of. They are not capable.
They're not capable. Perfect. That's what we love to hear. And our final two players, I'm going to do them in quick succession, are the, as you saw in the introduction, ever-present Alex Holt, resident artist of Science and Sorcery, and Sam Langford, resident Chaos Goblin / producer. Sam looks flustered. I think Sam's just looked at his character sheet for the first time.
No, I still haven't. I'm going to level with you, Declan. I have no idea what my character... I think I know what species they are. I think that's as close as I can tell you. I'll figure it out in the next 30 seconds.
I think because I've looked at your character sheet, I think I know more about them. Yeah. And all I remember is they have a passive perception of 12. Also, I love how excited the chat is about the cats in the background and MJ's cat sitting. I believe. So thank you. Please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, you may see some ads. They'll be playing about every half hour. They'll be like a minute and 30 seconds. If you don't want to see ads, you can subscribe to us on Twitch and you won't get those. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can get subscribed to one channel for free. So if you didn't know that and you haven't done that yet, you can subscribe to us for free and you don't see ads and you might see more cats. Or you might miss the cats if you don't subscribe. So, you should really subscribe.
Someone did just subscribe, so thank you, Tom Astro Sai, who's just subscribed.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be in the chat later, so I'm also going to be keeping an eye on that. But Science and Sorcery. Oh,
You're still there.
I am hearing feedback suddenly, which is very confusing. And I think it was just my laptop who decided to unmute Twitch. We at Science and Sorcery do, of course, also raise money for charity. And there are ways that you can help influence the game by giving money to this month's charity, Beat. Beat is the UK's eating disorder charity. We've already managed to raise nearly a third of our goal for this month. And Sam has very kindly posted the link for our Just Giving page in the chat earlier. We'll be posting that throughout the evening. For £5, you can give either the DM or a player of your choice advantage on a roll. For more than that, you might be able to get the players to do something silly, or to get the DM to do something silly, give suggestions. Please note those are suggestions. Do not be mad if they don't take those, because the players are also here to have fun, and we're not going to force them to do anything they don't want to. But they're good sports, so, as long as it's not too offensive or ridiculous, they'll probably go along with it. Other things for the players have been informed of this. If they can incorporate fun science facts that are tangentially relevant to the story, if not entirely relevant to the story, Kat will choose to give them either advantage or inspiration or something similar. So hopefully you learned something tonight. And with that, I believe that's all of our announcements for what's going to happen. I'm going to head off. I'm going to go eat something and watch the show, and I'm going to hand over to Kat, and I hope you guys have a good time. I'll see you at the end of the show.
Thank you. Oh. Everyone's supposed to be moving around. Okay. just
You're in right spaces. You're fine.
Excellent. Okay, so we'll kick things off with the little blurb that I sent the players in advance if they read the email that I sent about a week ago. Just to kind of set the scene, and then I will let you introduce yourselves, and hopefully by the time I finish reading this, Sam will have looked at the character sheet. But we'll see. Just make it up as you go along. What could go wrong? So you find yourselves in Candlekeep, a citadel on the cliffside overlooking the Sea of Swords, filled with scholars and the largest repository of lore in Faerun. You've travelled to the citadel for your own reasons, be it looking for answers, developing research, or other plans. And you've just arrived at the House of Rest, where you're hoping to take up lodgings. Upon entering the bunkhouse, you see 3 other travellers before you, and you're informed by the matron that they are full for the night, aside from some rooms typically reserved for the avowed, which are the scholars of Candlekeep, down in the library. Aware that your options are limited, you all agree eagerly and turn to face each other. So, if we start with Alex, who are we looking at?
Okay, so you are looking at Ulwalin, who is an aquatic half-elf, and he is a wizard monk, and is bad at both. And he has sort of like Bowian Labyrinth-esque, like glam rock bard aesthetic kind of going.
Yes, yes, we are. Amazing. Okay. To the left of them, then Yanis, who is in the House of Rest.
So Therius, the very pale-looking, suave gentleman, he has like a comb-over, like brush, and wearing very ornate-looking clothes, and he doesn't seem very studious, but I think he's trying his best to be amongst more scholarly people. But sure, he's just trying to keep a noble air about him.
Amazing. MJ?
You see before you Carolor, who is a high descendant half-elf with pale skin and silvery white hair, which almost has like a mintish tinge towards the bottom, looking very out of place in rugged leather armor, a long green cloak, and very much not looking of a scholarly type. They are a ranger and a fighter, but look surprisingly scrawny.
Scrawny fighter. We love it. Sam, have you had time to look at your character sheet? Okay, so who is our final character?
So you see in the room Eridark Ariesis, who is a pallid elf fighter gunslinger. Do I have guns? Do I fuck? What you see is I was going for a kind of Bowie-esque look as well with this one. I was thinking more like the Goblin King from Labyrinth. So you see like a kind of tall, pale elf, gangly limbs, kind of messy blondish hair, and a kind of silvery gold tracksuit, basically. I'm really stylish. It's exactly what the
Amazing.
70s ordered.
I love everything about this. Okay, fantastic. So as you guys kind of look around each other, a kind of wide-set matronly woman steps out from behind the counter and introduces herself as Mary, the matron. And she turns to you all smiling and, you know, is very apologetic for the lack of rooms upstairs, but the library in the cellar is wonderful. Like, you know, we don't normally let people down there, but you all look like kind of pauses, respectable folk. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. And she kind of turns to you. So behind the counter, there are some stairs going up, and that's where all the normal rooms are. And instead, you get led to what is essentially a hatch in the floor, beneath which you can see some rickety stairs leading down to a softly, dimly lit area. You can't quite see what's going down there. But there are some stairs, and she lets you know that down there is the cellar. Vanya will look after you. You can have a wonderful time. Enjoy your evening. We'll see you in the morning for breakfast. Just have a great time. I don't do many accents, so they're all going to end up vaguely Welsh, by the way. This is what we're going with. So yeah, and kind of just gestures you down this hatch in the floor. What would you like to do?
I guess this is our room then.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently so.
Are you Welsh as well? Like, I've turned up in like this. Am I on the west coast of Wales? What's going on?
I mean, I don't know. My name's Olwallen. It was kind of with the name.
I see.
Where is this Welsh place?
I think it's past Baldur's Gate, to be honest.
I see.
I have travelled far, but
haven't-
never heard of such a place.
Indeed, so have I.
This
For,
far
for
west.
any
from
Welsh
here.
people,
Probably a small
watching,
farming
I
town.
apologise.
It's all right. I do myself a disservice. Right. Okay. No, we're embracing it now. We're going full Welsh. Right. So you kind of get led towards the stairs, and Mary says, you know, go down, go introduce yourselves to Vanya, and she will look after you and point you to the rooms. So who wants to go down the hatch first?
I'll make my way down. Not scared of anything. Let's go.
I'll
Okay.
follow behind.
Fantastic.
Hello.
I'm gonna go down with a flourish and like kind of try to put like either leg on the banisters if there's any and slide down them.
Okay.
I'm
At
gonna
the
go
back?
full chaos with this character. Yeah, at the back. Yeah, I'll go down last. Like, so hopefully everyone else is down first.
Yeah. Can you make an athletics check, please, for that?
Sure. Just looking to see what the modifier is. Oh, that's a natural 20.
Oh,
Like
Okay.
first roll, natural 20.
we're off to a great start. I will let you describe what I'm looking at then, for executed beautifully, I'm sure.
So somewhere in like the kind of somewhere in the middle of another plane, you begin other creatures begin to hear magic dance playing, and this creature, Eridark, or Eri for short, places both ankles on either banister, and just raises their hands behind their head and somehow floats there as they descend down this small little ladder staircase.
Are you
Beautiful.
rotating balls in your fingers?
Yes.
Hand juggling
It's
is happening while this is going on.
It's a joy to witness.
That was interesting.
So you descend down into this cavern, the rest of you kind of backing back, not really paying attention where you're going, but it's lit enough that you can see. So as you descend these steps, first thing that you can see is just a green soft light kind of covering the ceiling. And the entire cavern, as you realize you're kind of stepping into, is a very large circular chamber. Again, green soft light in the ceiling. And the first thing you kind of notice as you come down the stairs is that at the top level, very close to the ceiling, are loads of plants. Succulents, monstera, all the cute plants that I like. Kind of sitting at the top of these very tall shelves. And as you keep going and area, you kind of notice as you're just kind of hovering there, kind of vibing around, that they're actually sat on top of large bookcases. And this entire chasm chamber is filled with bookcases in a spiral pattern going towards the center. Immediately to the left of the stairs is a... where are my notes?
GM rolls a notes check.
Yeah, this is the I closed everything and now I regret my life. There we go. Is a sun elf kind of watering the plants. And she kind of, Eri, everyone else is kind of going down, kind of looking around the cab. You kind of stop and float next to her as she's like on this ladder onto the top of the bookcase, kind of watering some plants. And she turns and kind of like is a bit caught off guard by everything that she's seeing. She's like, hello, can I help you?
Oh, I don't know. Can you? We're here to stay for the evening.
Oh, did Mary send you down?
Yes, that'll be her.
That'll be her, Mary. Right, okay. And we're Welsh again. Picked it up off you then. She kind of puts down the watering can and hustles, kind of climbs down the ladder. And she's like, right, welcome. I'm Vanya. I'm the keeper of the Firefly Cellar. Welcome to our little humble abode. We're just in the middle of some renovations. Please don't mind the mess. And you kind of look behind her and notice that whilst there are loads of bookcases, most of the books are actually on the floor. And she's, don't worry about the mess. I tell you what, if you could actually, I'll meet you downstairs. I'm just going to finish what I'm doing. But like, if you could just go down and she kind of looks at Eri floating. And is like, you could like take some of these down as well. That'd be lovely. Just put them on the table in the center in the room. That'd be great. Is that all right?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. And I'll scoop up as many as I can carry.
Yep. Still floating?
Oh, of course.
Of course. Okay, so she kind of gestures to what is actually the continuation of the stairs. So you have made it down to the first floor where she is she's been pottering about, and she immediately just kind of like acknowledges you and then goes back to watering the plants. And you notice that this chamber is actually 2 rooms on top of each other, 2 levels. So where she pointed was down the stairs again. And as you make your way down, you notice that the second floor is very similar to the first. But in the center of the room, in the center of this giant circular chamber, is now a large stone table where you can see a man sat reading a book.
Is it just me that's gone down? Has anyone else followed, or is it just me?
I was assuming I was following.
Yeah, follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take some stuff down.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay. So I'll like place down any of the plants that I've got on the table and just gonna take a look around the room to take everything in.
Okay. Can you roll me a... Oh, no, wait. I have your... Excellent. Okay, so as you look around, you notice that this floor is a bit more structured. The books are much more on the shelves, and clearly there are still a load of books on the table, but it seems like the bookcases have all been filled in down here. It's much more organized than the upper level. At the table, you can see, a human man, kind of middle-aged-ish. Doesn't look like David Bowie, just kind of sat there, intently reading, and he kind of like looks up at you and completely disregards and just goes back to his book. But behind him...
Remind me, what time of day is it?
Evening. Evening. Behind him, you can hear what sounds like a either small person or a child talking to themselves.
Can we sort of angle to see this small child?
Yep. So at the foot of the table, you notice a must be about 6-7-year-old girl with bright blonde hair in pigtails, holding a doll that looks remarkably similar to her. And she is just making this doll dance around and have a good time, and she's actually humming to this doll and kind of making it dance. Every once in a while, you can see that she kind of like pulls the leg of the trousers of the guy sat at the desk, and then just kind of gets dismissed and goes back to playing with the doll. She hasn't noticed you yet.
Hello there, young lass.
Hi! Yeah, we're just pick any accent every time you speak, it's fine. Hi, who are you? At which point she jumps up and kind of like runs and can't decide who to talk to first, but you've spoken, so she just instantly like, hi, how's it going? How are you? Who are you? What are you doing here?
Hi, my name's Olwallen. I've been told that we can sleep down here because the inn above is full. You're
gonna come stay? That's cool.
Yes.
That's cool. I'm Gabby, and this is Gabby. And she like shoves the doll in your face, both hands, like.
That's a beautiful name for you and for your doll.
I thought so too. Dad said it was weird, but I like my name, so I think everyone should have it.
How would you tell each other apart, young child?
Gabby doesn't talk much.
But if everyone was named Gabby...
Oh, and that throws her off.
So when your father calls out Gabby, do you look to your friend, or do you respond to your other?
Oh. Yeah, she's clearly like a bit. But we're always together, so it doesn't matter. What's your name if it's not Gabby?
Oh, I'm Therius. Nice to meet you.
Therius. And she kind of sits with it and is like, huh.
Is this your father here? Good day, sir.
Yeah, this is Daddy. Daddy! And the guy eventually like turns up and is kind of clearly not super interested, but as soon as he sees you talking to his daughter, kind of ruffles and stands up and is, hello there, my name's Ebba. Oh, no, Ebda. What can we do for you? Why are you here? And he kind of puts a hand on Gabby's shoulder and like kind of slows her down from the bouncing that is happening. What are you doing here?
Well, we were sent down from above to stay here for the night.
You're here for the rooms. And he stops and looks at you, especially at you, Carolora, and you're not the new avowed, are you?
Most definitely not.
Very well. Well, make yourselves at home. I'll show you. We have 2 rooms spare, but you should be fine. Just don't touch anything. At which point he turns. He turns, hands still on Gabby's shoulder, and is like, "Come along, child," and kind of gestures for you to follow him through the library.
Yeah, I'll follow.
Follow.
I'm gonna follow. Okay. So in the chasm, in the chamber directly opposite the stairs that you've just ascended, you can see another set of stairs. And as he makes his way down here, they lead to what is essentially just a very long tunnel. Again, everything is still lit with this like faint green light kind of emanating from the ceiling. And And as he's walking down, he's kind of explaining to you that there's a few of us staying here. Myself and Gabby are arguably the newest recruits, and we joined about 2 years ago. But I'm sure you'll meet the others at dinner time. And by the time that you get to the end of this corridor, you're in a kitchen area that has 7 doors leading off of it. He points to the 2 nearest the tunnel that you've just come from and says, these are currently empty. Please make yourselves at home. Dinner will be in about an hour. And kind of pins.
Well, thank you for your kindness.
Thank you.
Did anyone find that child creepy?
Absolutely.
I
I
thought
think
she was
that's
very
just
sweet,
me.
to be honest.
A little eccentric, but children are children.
If I'm honest, it was more the
Okay.
doll that bothered me, but that might just be me.
Could have sworn it looked at me.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I use minor illusion to just have the doll just standing at the feet.
Yep.
I look down and I stamp on it.
Oh dear.
Ebda, was that your name, sir?
He kind of turns back. He's like, yes. What can I do
I
for you?
see you are a very studious individual. I saw you reading earlier. How do
Oh.
you do it?
Excuse me? How do I read?
Yes, I find
Uh,
it very boring. You know, in my line of work, I should enjoy reading. And like on a scale of 1 to 20, I should be like at least a 16. But I'm at like a 13. How do I get higher in wanting to read more? Because I find it exceptionally boring.
If anything, I'm at a 12.
I take it you also don't like reading all well.
Oh, I love it. I just suck at it.
I despise reading. I would say I'm probably about a 9.
From that, you actually hear a voice coming from behind you further into the kitchen being like, what are you doing in a library then? And you turn around from the horrified face of Ebda, who is one of the scholars working in the library. You see a kind of young tabaxi woman kind of get quite confused. It's like, why are you in a library if you don't like reading?
I'm trying to
what's that about?
discover more better interests so that I may improve in my line of work.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're reading the right books. We've got so many here. You can just take your pick.
What do you recommend?
Ooh, my favorite's got to be the myths and legends. Those are always good stories. I'm Katula, by the way.
Very nice to meet you.
I'm sure. And she kind of does an overly dramatic bow, and you notice that she's in the same. I kind of forgot to mention, but all of the people you've met so far, except for Gabby, are in the same sort of simple robes that you know that most of the people that are vowed in Candlekeep tend to be wearing. Are you coming for dinner?
What is on the menu?
Same thing there is every night. Stew. Kind of gestures to the very bare, minimalistic kitchen and is like, what we can do, really.
Yeah.
I've eaten much worse on the road, so I'll take a stew.
If it's not too much of an inconvenience.
By all means. I'm not doing the cooking, so more than merrier. Yeah, we'll have to check with Crinkle, but I'm sure she always makes way too much. So yeah, you guys are just standing in the kitchen. She kind of turns and goes back to her room. She's like, "Make yourself at home. We'll shout when it's ready," and gestures to the kind of 2 rooms that are with the doors open in this chamber.
I'll run into one shouting, "I call dibs!" Just head in.
Amazing. Yeah, it's a very simple
doesn't
room.
understand the concept of dibs.
Okay, so Carola's called one room. What are the other three doing?
Well, I'll take whatever suits everyone else.
I'll most likely sit up all night, to be honest. Like,
Okay.
don't really need to sleep, so.
5. Okay, so yeah, the rooms themselves are nothing particularly special. They just have a bed and a glass jar by the sides of the bed that you notice light is kind of emanating from. There are clearly like bookshelves, but they are currently empty, assuming that the Avowed would bring their own, as well as a small little writing desk in each of the rooms. So that you have about some time to kill before dinner. What would you like to do?
I'll go find that book I was recommended.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to head back out into the library and just flick through the books and find the one with the prettiest pictures. Maybe one with animals in, I think.
Amazing. Okay, so books with animals. Petula kind of directs you towards one of the corners of the lower floor. Again, where all of the bookcases are much more detailed and laid out. And you see a selection in front of you. One of them is mythical creatures of the western coast. One of them is animals with their ABCs. And one of them is an encyclopedia of animals F through H. Which would you like?
I think we all know which one I'm picking. I would like the animals ABCs, please.
Okay. So Kaela has just sat at the central stone table, flicking through the ABC books. Anything interesting in there?
I think they would probably get quite excited at A being aardvark. That's an unusual one. They haven't come across one of them before. I think that would probably be the height. So they'd probably fixate on the first page for quite a while, and then eventually realize, oh wait, there could be more animals, and keep flicking.
Amazing. Yeah, so Therius, you were told to go check out Myths and Legends. So that was then the north side of the cavern. And it's arguably the biggest section there. So there are many, many books to choose from. Cthulhu kind of indicates that the local folklore ones are particularly good stories because you hear all sorts of weird things coming from the local villages. But you have a wide selection to choose. So you find yourself just perusing the shelves there. Anything take your fancy? Any topics you want to read?
Let's look for something about libraries. Any myths about libraries?
Okay. So on one of the lower shelves, you notice a kind of an old tome about the wonderful disappearances of libraries. And within it, you find stories about a distant land where an entire building just completely disappeared at one point. You read some stories about instances where libraries have had all of their workers mysteriously just up and disappear one day. And you hear stories about curses and cursed tomes kind of causing chaos and havoc within libraries. So you sat there, you enjoying it? Is it a good book? You tell me.
I think it's okay. I'm not like too interested.
That's fair.
I'm not too excited, but I don't think it's like exceptionally boring. It does spook me a little bit, being that I'm in a library type of place. And every time there's like a squeak or something, like my eye nods over to to some random noise.
Amazing. Okay, so while those two have been somewhat enthusiastically reading, Arian Olwalin, what are you up to? How are you filling your spare time?
Well, Ari's not hugely into book reading, But if there's one thing that he does know about books is that some of them have kind of things hidden inside them, and so is going to start rifling, looking for any hidden guns that might be hidden in any of the books in the library.
Okay. Make an investigation check for me.
You know what I mean? Like a cut out book with a
Yeah.
thing inside it. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
That is going to be, what's my modifier? Investigation 15.
Okay. There are no books with hidden guns in them in the library, but you do find a locked door on the lower level. So that's fun. In the stacks, middle of the stacks, the far side, kind of. If we're using a clock, the two stairs are east and west. If we're using a clock, the two stairs are east and west. Yep. And on the north side, there is a locked door, unassuming wooden door, but it's locked. So.
Does anything happen if I turn the handle, or is anything?
It doesn't open.
Just like the fire alarm goes off.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
do we get a fire alarm? Do I get
No.
do I open a portal?
Nothing super exciting. You do get a funny look from Ebda, but he's not super fussed enough to kind of tell you off. You just rattle in the door and it doesn't open.
What's behind
What's
the
you wanna
door,
do?
Ebda?
That's Crinkle's room, that is. Just more books, and it's where she keeps the storage for all the lights. Nothing super fancy, but she does get quite protective over it, so maybe don't. He's really just nonplussed at this point.
Her room where that stores all the lights, that doesn't seem very health and safety. Like, it seems like a lot of lights in that room. It's like a lot of fire risk for someone to be sleeping in a room where there's lots of light storage.
At which point, he hasn't smiled this entire time, and he just giggles, kind of gleefully, and make a perception check for me.
3.
3.
That was a 3.
That was okay. He laughs and points upwards, and you look up and you can see again this kind of soft green glow that's on the ceiling, and you're like, yeah, that's a terrible, the lights, and if they're in the room, that's a terrible idea. And you're just a bit off put by this guy laughing at you, but he doesn't offer a further explanation.
I'm just gonna say to him, just straight to his face, going, "Not sure I'm a fan of you, to be honest, so far. I asked a question, you took the piss. You ignore your child. It's just, yeah."
He instantly
Not a fan.
stands up from the table, pushes Gabby, who's been playing in the corner again behind her, is like, "You do not talk about my daughter. I can't give him much, but I do look after her, and I will not have you say another word against it." At which point he's like, "Come on, Gabby, I'm going to put you to bed to get you away from these strangers." And you hear him stomp off, dragging the child, who's waving quite gleefully, oblivious to everything. And you can hear him just mutter "fucking tourists" as he stumbles down the stairs. And Gabby's just like, "Night, night," and is doing the rounds as if she's the queen. I don't know, just bye. But yeah, that's not fussed. So yeah. Sorry, that just tickled me. Okay, so that's, and then Wallen, what are you?
Well, I've not really come here to read so much as just to look at the beautiful handwriting. I want to learn some beautiful script to better advertise my charms back in my valleys.
Back in the valley, we don't have writing, see, so we're just you need
not
to
fancy,
take
not fancy library writing like this.
just, yeah. Okay. So Vanya has given you some calligraphy paper then, and has set you down with the lines with the slants on it, and has kind of shown you ABC and is getting you to kind of go through and practice that. And she says, you should talk to Crinkle about that, because she's our other
Calligrapher?
the person that does the writing is the thing in my head. Yeah, calligrapher. When she comes up from lunch for dinner, you'll have to give her a chat. She'd love to talk to you, I'm sure. I mean, she's not the most friendly of people, but like, I'm sure if you show interest, she'd love to show you.
Oh, that would be lovely, thank you.
Okay. And with that, actually, you do hear someone shout up the stairs, "Dinner's ready!" Everyone's Welsh. And from the lower level, you do hear kind of a muffled conversation between two voices. One of them you can make out to be Ebda, just being like, "Nope, she's going to bed. Don't like them. Don't trust them." And a very dismissive tone being from the other voice. And in front of you, you see, I've forgotten the name of the race, the humanoid crow. Kenku. Yeah, thank you. An older-looking Kenku kind of carrying this very large pot with steam rising off it. She's like, "Dinner's ready, guess him if you want some," and plonks it down in the middle of this like giant stone table in the center of the cavern. And she kind of stops and kind of sits down, starts pouring out dishes, and does the normal, pours one for Vanya, pours one for Cthulhu, kind of keeps going and turns to hand one to those of you that were sat at the table, and then like realizes that there are too many people in the room. And kind of mid-pour is just, "Ha!" Turns to
Hi
Vanya.
there.
"More of them? Hello." And hesitantly gives you a bowl.
Why? You.
Why are you here?
We were sent down here because the inn was full. My accent is drifting terribly.
All right. Mary's got to stop doing that. It's bad enough with these lot in here. And you notice that Crinkle's in a different set of robes than everyone else. She's in much, much older, darker robes than the others. It's bad enough with this restoration effort happening. Sorry, Vanya, I know it's your passion, but it's so much nicer if it was just me and the flies. And she kind of puts the bowl down. She's like, "Sorry, make yourselves at home. Try not to damage anything. Don't get in my way, I won't get in yours. We good?"
Of course. We wouldn't want to interrupt your business.
At this point, you hear Carol go, "Ooh, pangolin!" And it's like now fixated on that page.
Amazing.
Key for pangolin.
Crinkle kind of turns and softens a little bit at the sheer joy of the book that she's seeing. Like, okay. Sits down to dinner. Vanya's clearly like trying to keep the peace then in the room. Just like, "So you found anything of interest recently?" Turns to any of you and just like, anything good? Enjoying yourselves?
Oh, it's marvelous. I think.
Good. Yeah, so you kind of all sat to clearly the temperament of the room is varied. Cthulhu and Vanya kind of light chattering every once in a while. And what you notice is that Crinkle's very much kind of keeping to herself a little bit. And every once in a while she just kind of hums to herself as she's eating her food. But yeah, you're all sat down for dinner. Have everyone there if you want to chat or talk or just eat in silence. What's the vibe?
Like sort of casual small talk, sort of ask about what their deals are.
Yep. So you learn that Crinkle is the guardian of Firefly Cellar Library. She is the head custodian and has been there for possibly the longest time. She doesn't deal directly with the books, but she's more just kind of the keeper of the building, or of the library. Whereas Vanya is the head scribe. So she's kind of been brought in to deal with the restoration efforts of reorganizing and protecting and looking after all of the books. So that's why the top level is completely in disarray. They've been working their way up through, and she tells you really like passionately about how, describing in great detail about the rebinding and the rewriting of the books that happens in this place. You learn that Ebdar and Cthulhu are there to help, and Gabby is there because you can't leave an 8-year-old on their own. Turns out, generally frowned upon. But they all kind of have a soft spot for the overly keen child, and as long as she stays away from the books, it's all good.
I mean, if you need any help with that and to help to make up for the inconvenience, if the shelves need any work, I am proficient in wood carver's tools. For some reason.
Some light woodworking to pass the time. Yes.
Amazing. Yeah, Savannah lets you know that while the upstairs, the first floor shelves are empty, if you want to just check, I think a few of them are a bit uneven, a bit wobbly, so, to stop them kind of toppling over, because these things are massive. They're like 10 foot tall in this chasm. If you want to have a look at those, she's like, yeah, I'll show you around tomorrow. You can help out. Yeah, there's a few that are a bit, we're a bit worried about them when we fill them up again. But thank you for the offer.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, like, through like a mouthful of stew, like, this is lovely. What's in the recipe?
Crinkle kind of like is very appreciative of the compliment. Well, there's potato and carrot and potato and carrot. And he's like, yes. Very simple stew. They're not. We haven't had a delivery in a little while. Fine.
None in the way of
they're
protein.
the nicest potatoes and carrots I've ever had.
We don't want anything too heavy near the books. So it's like, of all of the things to prep as a DM, what the food is something that stresses me.
I feel like you're onto something there, though. I feel like meat gravy would be more difficult to get out of the pages, whereas like a vegetable-based
Perhaps.
stock, I think, would be easier.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Well, it depends if you're talking like pre-1500 texts on the type of paper, of course.
That is true.
Yeah. Luckily, we don't have that many incidents because we don't have many people down here. And she kind of again looks at the many people at the table, the like near full table, and is like, yes. One second. Owalin, can you make me a wisdom check, please?
Oh, check or save?
Save.
Okie dokie, I can do that. 17.
Okay, thank you. So chat is kind of happening, and eventually kind of Ebdar appears from downstairs and sits like the opposite side of the table to Eri, just like intentionally missing an empty chair next to them. Doesn't even like just kind of like glares across the table and is like, Gabby's asleep, and just starts like shoveling food into his mouth. And the others are kind of clearly used to his mood, so they just kind of let him be quite indifferent. But you guys are having a relatively chill time, kind of making some nice small talk. And as dinner's kind of winding down, you guys are finishing up your food, all going really nice. You're kind of getting to know everyone. What you do notice, though, is that as people start putting everything away, you, Carolor, are humming a little tune to yourself. You kind of feel back. You've made it to about W. What's on W?
Yeah, I would say W.
What's the page?
Whale.
Whale. Yeah. So you're reading this book. You're back on the book. And you notice that you're humming. And weirdly, it's the same thing that Ebdar is humming. And you're just kind of sat there. Everyone else is moving along, but yeah, you kind of catch yourself singing a tune in your head and humming it out loud.
Other than having heard Evdar hum it, do I recognize the tune? Am I familiar with it at all?
Not aggressively, but it does seem to come very naturally to you.
Okay. Do I notice if anyone else is, or is it just me?
At this moment in time, you and Evdar are both humming the same thing at the same tempo. Kind of having a little sing-song with Evdar unawares.
He was like across the table from me, wasn't he? I'll kind of like look up and see if he's looking in my direction, try and make eye contact with him.
Okay. He's not. He's completely like in his own world. He's clearly completely unaware of everything else that's going on at the table.
Okay. I'll turn to Therius and Orwellen, knowing that they're supposed to be more academic, and I'll stop for a second if I can. Academic. Are either of you familiar with this tune? And I'll continue humming it if I can still remember it.
Yep. So you can remember it. So Therius, Orwellen, can you make wisdom saving throw, please?
Is this
Sorry.
Wisdom saves.
I should have asked this before. Is this considered against charm? Because I have advantage against that.
It's a natural 20 for 25.
So yes, it is charm. Okay. That was bad. I rolled a 2 and a 3, so that is a total.
Okay. So Therius, you just kind of sit there like, nope, don't know it. That's really weird. Orwellen, you've joined in. And now you're just like singing or humming this tune back and forth to each other. And you're
Seems
kind of
to be contagious.
looking around.
Well, this is disconcerting.
Yep. Ari, you can see this happening. Well, the two people are just now singing at each other, and one of them's doing it off the other side of the table. But you have no strong thought one way or another at the moment in time.
What's going on?
Indeed.
At this point, if you guys have all kind of like noticed, and Kayla or Alan, you don't feel super like scared. You're just humming this song now. Vanya has kind of looked up and stepped back from the table, like, and by doing that kind of rhythmically, she kind of joins in. The way that she's hummed has kind of accidentally led into, and now she's doing it too. Like, I'll be right back, and kind of scuttles off up the stairs to the higher level for a second. Crinkle and Cthulhu turn to you, Kayla and Orwellen, and they're like, Stop singing. What are you doing? But it doesn't seem to have that much of an effect at the minute.
Yeah, can we stop, or
while you're not doing anything else, you are humming this song. So by covering your mouth, you stop, but without conscious thought, you are now joining in. Evdar at this point is still completely oblivious to the world because he's just intentionally ignoring what's going on, almost. From above, you hear a loud bang, and then a pitter-patter of feet kind of running back down the stairs. And Vanya turns to you and is, there's no need to worry, but I've just let Mary know, and we're just going to have like a teeny tiny little quarantine while we sort this out. You know what? Don't worry about it. It's all going to be fine. But no one's leaving the cellar for a bit. Okay? That's fine, right?
Why? Why is that?
Well, and she kind of pauses, thinks for a bit, and then starts having and catches herself and is right. So when I first started here, way back, I was a young scribe. I was in the cellar next door, just down the road in the other one, and there was like a teeny tiny little singing plague that went round, and
Plague.
plague curse. Something happened. Everyone started singing, went mad, and killed themselves.
Killed themselves? This
they
has
all just kind of
escalated beyond
disappeared.
normality.
It was, and she's like trying to explain with the most useless, calm attitude you've ever seen. She kind of sits there and she's like, "Well, right. When I first started working here, there was reports out of the cellar that all of the avowed working there went mad, and it was something about singing non-stop. And basically the protocol is that we kind of just quarantine these things if and when they happen so that they don't spread. But yeah, it wasn't a good time. People don't really like talking about it, you see. It's not the nicest thing to bring up. But I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure this is nothing like that. I'm sure this is completely accident, like just a coincidence, really.
Hold on. So the only form of mitigation is to lock everything down and everyone dies.
Well, not
No one
everyone
comes
dies,
back
but
from
we
this.
just quarantine it until we know what we're dealing with. But yeah, last time no one, I don't remember anyone getting out alive. So, but like that's not a big deal. It's not a big worry. I'm sure
That's
we'll
a
sort
very
it
big
out.
deal.
Well,
What's the
Can we
huge worry?
agree
You're
that this
telling
is
me
a
I'm
big
going to
deal?
live until I die?
You're not gonna die. We're not gonna die. Forget I said die. I didn't
Who
say
in the
die.
room isn't humming yet that we know of?
At this point, it's only you two, Vanya when she stops talking. Pualin and Kaelor, Varin when she stops talking, and Ebdar. For the moment.
I mean, who hasn't hummed at all? So it's just Therius and
Theris, Eri, Cthulhu, and as far as you're aware, Crinkle.
well, could I perhaps suggest that those who haven't got this perhaps just go in a different room so it can't pass on to them? That's
But whilst this has been whilst you've been explaining this, Eri has kind of like torn like fabric off of his wrist and just like tied it around his face and tied it like a mask. Like heard plague and straight away getting flashbacks to things that happened 3 years ago. So yeah, it's just gonna like
Yep.
wrap his face
During the war. Yeah.
during the bad times.
Yeah.
although
We
it occurs to me that perhaps those who are already should perhaps be the ones to sort of do a bit of gag work, and then maybe it won't spread.
we can.
Horrible phrase, Alex.
We can.
I don't know what you mean.
Yes. At which point Vanya kind of steps. I mean, she was kind of nearer the stairs anyway. Cthulhu kind of saw what Eri did, instantly copied, just like hand over thing, step back. Crinkle sat there quite silently, and at this point, Ebda kind of looks up, kind of sees the tension in the room, and is like, "What happened? What's going on? What? Here's that," and just starts joining in. Nice. Telling people to hum and then seeing what they do is fantastic. Yeah. So
Was there any pattern to this? Was it just random?
As who are you directing at, me or the characters?
The person was explaining the curse.
Vanya. Well, I seem to be doing it. You two seem, Kayla and Orlin seem to be doing it. Ebdar's been having a great time. It's not. I mean, you guys aren't like a barbershop quartet or anything. This is not just a weird, like, gimmick. No?
We have not met before this, no.
No, but that is something I think we should discuss. I mean, if we're going to sing until we die, we might as well make a bit of money out of it.
This is true. Are we doing it in harmony? At which point she tries to hum something other than what she's humming and is like, nope, it's just the one tune. We can do a choral piece, but we're not splitting this. Trying to make light of the situation, Cthulhu just like slams both hands down on the table and is like, why are you joking? What? We're trapped and there's a plate. What is? And is clearly starting to get quite worked up about all of this. Ebdar
Well, if we're going to die, we might as well laugh about it.
Laugh. I work with books. I came here to read some books. Like, you read about fun stuff happening. You read about, adventures and stuff. I sit here and I read and I don't go outside. If I wanted to go outside, I'd be a ranger like you. Didn't sign up for this. And she's clearly just like spiraling at this point.
You've read about adventures, now you're in one.
Remember anything in the book that you read that might be tangentially useful here, or maybe a reference to something?
Make a history check for me.
That's a grand total of 11.
Okay. So you were reading about things happening in libraries. So like there were instances of horrible stuff happening in libraries, either people or books, or you can't remember too many of the details of what you were looking at, but like sounds like something to write about afterwards if you make it out alive, I guess.
Which doesn't seem likely.
Okay. Yeah, Theris, while you're thinking about this, can you roll me a wisdom saving throw?
Great. That is an 18.
Okay. So yeah, you as you're thinking about what could be kind of causing this, you kind of think about the tune, but it doesn't quite catch you. So you're not singing yet. But you notice. Do you notice? Yeah, you notice. Ebdar, basically since saying what's been going on, has been sat completely frozen. He is completely unmoving, and he is just humming. And
I was just going to sort of shake him a bit. Ebdar, are you still with us?
You get no response. He is completely frozen. The only thing that's happening is he is humming. You can see his eyes move side to side and kind of react to you, but everything else about this man is now completely stationary. He is just sat in the center of the room at the table, humming.
Ebdar, if you can hear me, could you perhaps tell us when you started humming this and where you were?
You get no response. He kind of looks at you, but it's just humming. It's the tune going round and round and round and round.
Well,
You write it down, Ebdar. Here's some pen and paper.
He looks at it, and then he looks at you, like head not moving, literally just eyes, and is.
Is there any kind of expression in his eyes, or is it just literally like blank looking at us?
There's like wide panic, but not so much so that it's the whole face. Just stationary.
You could always try a yes or no activity. Have him look left for yes, look right for no.
Quite clever.
What do you want to?
I'm gonna ask him. Does the creepy doll play anything in this?
He kind of like looks at you. He looks at you and is humming. He's like, you have his attention now, but he's unable to react
So you can't
or
even read
use
his eyes.
words. He could look around, but he doesn't seem to be super indicative of anything beyond panic.
So look at me for yes and Therius for no.
He looks at you. Sorry, he looks at you a while.
Did you start humming this within the last hour, to your knowledge?
He kind of like looks back and forth a few times, kind of first at you a while and being like, but then it's a hesitant, unsure moving.
Okay. So
yeah.
was it in one of the... Did you read anything about rhymes in any of the books you were looking at earlier?
He rolls his eyes. And then kind of looks at the Therius to get that. Like, he's clearly just not enjoying this at all, but is looking at Therius for no. While you guys are kind of all concentrating on Ebda, from behind you, you just hear Cthulhu be like, no, fuck this, I'm out. And she sprints towards the door and she's like, I don't care what's going on, I'm getting out of here. And she's just like run towards the stairs.
I'm running with her.
I cast sleep on her.
Okay, tell me what that does.
Okay, so I roll 5d8, and that's how many hit points of creature fall asleep. So I need to beat her hit points.
Okay.
Oh, it's going to make me roll it. There's not a button to do that.
It's a wide range though, so it would catch more than one person.
Starting, I'll aim it in a place that only catches her. It like
Okay.
it's a 20-foot sphere, but so I'll probably fire it ahead of her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry, just let's see. Like, how often do I use d8s? Not often.
They are arguably the worst dice.
15 hit points worth.
She kind of like stumbles, but it doesn't quite knock her out.
Oh.
But she does turn around at this point and is like, "Don't you want out of here? This is madness. No. I didn't sign up for this. I'm like, we should leave."
But if we leave, then maybe we infect other people too. Whereas the answer's probably in here.
But I'm not singing. Like, why would I be singing? So it doesn't matter. So I should just leave, and you guys can, deal with your creepy, horrible things that happen. It should only happen in books, and I should just get to go. Because why would I be humming? And as she kind of like starts crying, she also starts humming and completely loses it. It's just cry, laugh thing of wanting to get out of here, and it's while humming through tears, still turns towards the door.
Can I just like sit her down on the steps? Just gently get her to sit down on the steps.
Yeah, I'll allow that. And then what? So she's just crying there.
Let her cry out.
Just go off and bar the door now, because this is a problem.
Okay. So yeah, she's just like crying. She actually grabs you, Eri, and is just like hugging your leg and is like sobbing at you.
Little worst nightmare. Just like shake her off.
Okay. At which point Vanya has like kind of come and taken her by the shoulders, and she's like, "Thank you for that. Come on, dear. It's okay."
So, is
We'll
there
be
anyone
okay."
except Darius left who's not humming?
Therius, Ari, and Crinkle are not at the minute. So Crinkle has been quite quiet throughout most of this. Clearly, just like not amused, but also not wanting to not draw attention, but like letting everything play out and kind of observing.
Do we have anything here that would serve as like earmuffs?
Earmuffs. Oh, we could get some paper from the scribery. Place where the scribing happens. That sounds like a real word.
Yes.
Scriptorium. We could use paper. I suppose I can go and open the scriptorium, and we could use that.
Like pillows or cushions you could like use.
I suppose they would be down in the bedrooms if you were gonna do that. But
For those of us who aren't humming, perhaps if we like make a little muffle and hopefully it won't spread, and you'll be doing the entire adventure with pillows wrapped around your head, which will be hilarious.
I'm fine with like, pillow head. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I agree. No head. Plan pillow head in that case.
Plan pillowhead. Okay, so does everyone descend or just the? I'm
I
gonna
think
say
just people who don't have the
Yeah.
tune yet.
yeah.
Just me and
So
Tim.
Crinkle
Managed to
gestures
get
you.
the door locked and or barred.
Yes, so that was actually, Vanya lets you know, that was the loud bang that you heard at the start, was the hatch over the cellar closing. Mary has locked it from the outside as well. But as far as it, yeah, no one's leaving immediately. But yeah, so Therius and Ari, you follow Crinkle down to the bedrooms where there is, you know, a blanket and pillows, and you're tying pillows to your heads.
Anything
Try.
that'll muffle sounds will wrap around our ears.
Okay. Amazing. While they are then you two and Crinkle are downstairs kind of fitting yourselves with with these head ornaments.
Just turbans everywhere.
So, just the places that things go to in D&D are my favorite. So while that's happening, Kayla and Owain, can you roll me perception checks, please?
Certainly can.
Perception, you said.
Yes.
Perception.
Oh,
That's a
dear.
10.
Okay. So yeah, you can hear just humming in the room. You've got Danya and Cthulhu on the stairs, kind of humming, stopping between muffles. You two are still just sat at the table with Edbar, who is just continuously going, and you can hear voices kind of around, but there's not much coherence to it. You're all on time. You're all in tune, if that's remotely possible. You're trying to keep tune with each other at least.
Can I go and have a look at the books that what's his name was reading earlier to see if there's anything in there?
The Abdal was.
Yeah.
Yep. So in front of him, you can see he has like a stack that's been very like neatly organized. So this big table, as I should have said sooner, is clearly has like little divots for workstations, but they can be separated out. But he's clearly like set up home that is, don't come near me. So he has his piles of books. On the table in front of him, you can see there's actually like a list of books that kind of matches what's on the table from as far as you can tell.
Okay.
Yeah. So it seems to be bits and bobs from the myths and legends section over on the other side, and then some historical texts. And you make me an investigation check.
I can try. 13.
13. Yeah, so you notice that this like list of books is clearly like a restoration thing. So some of them say like rebinding, some of them say repair page 382. Some of them are, I don't know what else you can do to books, but yeah, they're all just repair lists. So he's been making his way through reading, checking over, and then writing this list of what needs to be done to them, as far as you can tell. There's nothing immediately eye-grabbing about it. It seems to be quite sporadic where he's pulled these books from. There's no...
What's the most sinister sounding book on the list?
Depends what you're into. 1 sec.
The one that sounds like most like it might have to do with like cursed humming.
So the kind of bottom half of the list, you can see festivals and festivities of Cormyr, 3 years among stone giants, halfling superstitions, and Shemshine's bedtime rhyme.
Stupid meta knowledge making.
Must resist metagame.
Well,
Yep.
there are these ones here that seem like the most likely candidates to me, but which one could it be?
Yeah. Kaela Awalin is kind of investigating in and around, like just completely invading Ebdar's like personal space. I'm assuming you're like proper just leaning over this, what is now a human statue.
Just like propping books up against him.
Carola, what are you up to?
I'm probably kind of like internally freaking out, but really trying not to show it. Having seen the absolute breakdown that happened on the stairs, I don't want to be part of that. Again, I'm just trying to rack my brains to see if I can place this tune from anywhere that I've heard it before, and probably when eventually we'll say like, oh, these are the most likely ones, I'll probably go over and help.
Okay. While you're thinking about the tune that you're humming, can you make me a wisdom saving throw, please?
I can.
You might have advantage as well.
I do, yeah. It did not help. That is a 12.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah. Super great.
Okay. So while you're thinking super hard about this tune, you're trying to place it, see if you can think of anything that you've heard it before or if you've seen words. And you look up at Awal and you see him kind of leaning a book on Evdar's head at this point, just kind of like scrolling through the pages, being like, does this look good? Like putting it in front of his face, like, no, nothing, okay. This kind of thing. But behind him, from the corner of your eye, you see just a very large dark shadow. But as you turn your head to kind of see what it is, it disappears. And you get this kind of sense of impending doom.
Oh, nice.
Kind of coming over you. And from the corner of your eyes, you keep catching like a figure, or you can't really make out what it is, but it is very large, black, kind of smoky shadows just appearing in the corner of your vision every once in a while. But while that is happening, you actually start to think of words. And you start to kind of, the humming is kind of slowly becoming words in your head.
Right.
And what you realize is the reason those words are coming to your head is because you can hear singing coming from behind a locked door on the other side of the room.
Oh. Okay. Interesting, very interesting. Knowing that and having watched Eridark earlier investigate that door, I will wait until they return and try and catch them. Like, sequester them aside so as not to panic anyone.
Okay. So Pillow's successfully strapped a heads downstairs. You are muted, my dear.
I imagine I'm making my way back up to the top of the stairs at this point. Like, put like great seal on this pillow in my head.
Soundproof.
The fact that you guys now have to talk to each other. Oh, yep.
We're
Okay.
just writing it on the little chalkboards.
You are surrounded by pen and
With some
paper, but yep,
parchments.
chalkboards.
Yeah.
Of course.
So as I get to the top of the stairs, I'll just turn around to everyone and go, "How's everyone doing?"
I'll give a big thumbs up.
Yeah, Vanya's kind of like hand on Cthulhu's shoulder, like.
Glad to hear it.
And I just sort of like hold up that pile of books. Yeah.
Okay, from behind Arian Theseus, then you can hear Crinkle go, "What's that, Awalin?" And like proper just shouting, which is, you know, clearly upsetting something in her to be shouting inside of a library, but yeah.
That's the true curse.
Yeah. So she comes over to you and is like, "Oh, this is just the work that is being done in the scriptorium. What about it?"
I write on a piece of paper. These were the ones that. So what was his name again? It begins with an E.
Ebdar.
These are the ones that Ebdar was looking at recently. Maybe one is to blame? Question mark.
Okay. She kind of says, and it's like, well, they'd be in the scriptorium once he's finished with them. So, and she kind of like turns and kind of starts heading towards this door.
Is that the locked door?
Yes, yeah. So that is
Okay. I follow.
thing. She kind of stops as she gets to her, and she's like, "I'd rather you, this is where we keep all of the delicate stuff. I'd rather you didn't come in," and kind of quickly shuts it behind her, but doesn't relock it, and just kind of scuttles off into the room.
Do I see that happen?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to head over. That don't sit right with me.
I would also say I can't hear what she's just said, so I'll just follow her in the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just forcefully reopen the door, sneak in. What's the vibe? Okay. She can't hear you because she's got a pillow on her head. So
That's going to be great.
so,
I'm looking forward to this art. This like.
oh, everything about
Pillowhead
this.
squad.
Yeah. So this room is clearly dedicated to the rebinding and copying of text. It's you can see there are different desks laid out with calligraphy sets, and there's a binding press, and there's like a stack of leather, and it's clearly like this is where all of the technical stuff happens. There is some tapestries kind of loosely hanging from the wall, but it's clear like not many people are moving around in this room. Like it's not super disturbed. Everything's very in its place. Crinkle is then just like flicking through something on the desk. There's like a stack of what look like books that aren't finished. So things without spines and stuff that she's kind of moving her way through and sorting. So who's followed in? Everyone.
I think I followed him, but only like just. How big is this room?
Not massive. It's not tiny. You could all fit in there, but you're getting quite close to each other.
I think I would just be in, but like in the doorway, not like coming in, because as I did actually hear her say that.
Okay.
I would like to stand in the doorway and see if I can just peer in as Emily opens it to see if I can see that figure again.
Okay. Yeah, so as the door opened, you did see like shadowy figures and stuff. But what you notice in particular is that there is singing coming from behind the tapestry.
Okay. Well, now I've got to go in the room.
Okay, yeah. Therius and Eri, you cannot hear that at all, by the way.
I won't walk towards the tapestry yet, but those that are in the room, I'm gonna gesture towards it and just be like,
Shall I just get my quarterstaff out and just sort of lift it slightly at a distance?
Okay. Behind this tapestry, you see that there is like a hole in the wall that has been like loosely boarded up. So there are some wooden planks kind of haphazardly protecting what is clearly like a alcove that was never properly finished, for lack of a better term. Is not in built brick. It's just kind of carved out of the stone with some boards covering it. Crinkle kind of turns around. It's like, why? Okay. And she is completely thrown.
I heard creepy singing, and I was like, well, I can't not investigate. We're all humming anyway. If there's words to it, I'd like to know what they are.
Okay, so you kind of approach it, at which point you find yourself singing.
Oh, great.
And the lyrics that you get given, and I realize this is where I should have. It's split into verses and not, but you hear the tune. See a mother scything wheat, forgotten husband sleeping near. With one swing she took his feet, another took his ear. See a dog that knows how to heel, never heeds plea nor command. Mother gave it a tasty meal, dog instead took her hand. See a son doing his chore, washing clothes for folk in town. Fell into the river's roar, sank to the bottom and drowned. And between each of these verses, you hear, does the shadow have a name? Causes grief, avoids the blame. And perhaps the most like surreal part of this, as you're singing along with it, is the version of the song that you can hear is quite jovial, coming from this alcove that you can't quite peer into. That one's having a boogie.
Well, that's
yeah.
delightful.
So did I hear Carolor singing that then?
So you can hear that, yeah, Carolor has switched from humming to singing.
Well, that's disconcerting.
Tell me about it.
Can I use my woodcarver's tools proficiency to see if there's anything I can do about these?
You can indeed. You're going to take them down.
Yeah. Do I need to roll for it, or?
I will let you do that. So what you, with your expert proficiency in woodcarving, you notice that this was a slapdash job. This was not super fancy. This has been clearly put up in a hurry. So you can pry off the wooden planks quite easily. And as you get closer as well, you can kind of like notice that you know the words to this now as well. Inside of the cavern, there's not much except two skeletons. One in avowed robes, and the other in what appears to be not super fine wear, but just like kind of tailored robe, jacket, and trousers and shit. Can you make a perception check for me? Or investigation check? We're actually looking at
investigation, because I have +1, so dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Yeah, so you can actually make out the crest on the robe logo that's part of the Merchants Guild. So clearly it's merchant's robe. And you also notice the avowed, it's one of the standard Citadel keep avoweds, but it's clearly like very, very old. But the merchant's skull is the one singing, and it also has a massive crack in the back of its cranium.
Hello, skull. Can you speak or can you just sing?
It is just singing at you.
I write down something to tell the others. The skull can't put.
Okay. So while all this was happening, Ari and Therius, you guys were just like pointing at each other at Crinkle, being like, I can't hear you. But eventually, yeah, Owalin's kind of pulled your attention to what is going on behind.
Can the skull come out of where it is? Is it?
I poke the skull with my staff just to see if it moves.
So you poke the skull, and from behind you in the main library, you hear commotion. And there are loud bangs, kind of sounds of things flying and then kind of crashing. And there's just lots of, like, a cacophony of sound is happening behind you after you've nudged the skull.
I run. So this Carolor doesn't have a. Carolor can hear me.
Yeah.
So I just gesture to the others and just like quickly, let's see what's happening. Check the others are okay.
Yeah.
A bit what's that?
I don't like this skull that's there.
Okay.
Like it seems like odd, but I don't know anything that's happening with it because I can't hear anything.
Well, I showed you it was. I told you it was singing, but it couldn't talk. So you do know that.
How I do know that?
Yeah,
there
because
was a series of elaborate gestures and writing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Alex in the chat saying, if only I had a gun. But instead, I would like to pick it up and take it out with me.
Okay.
I don't want to leave it alone.
Okay. Can you make me a wisdom saving throw, please?
Mm-hmm. Is this charm?
Yeah.
Kill advantage. That is going to be wisdom save 19.
Okay. Yeah, so you pick this thing up, and it's still singing. It's a tune, and like you can't hear anything, but in like some part of your brain, you're aware that there is like a song. Like you know when you remember that you had an earworm at one point, it's that sort of like a niggle in the back of your brain, but nothing. Nothing
is it
more
moving,
than that.
or is it just making the noise?
I'm gonna say it's moving.
Okay.
Like no windpipes, but yeah, there's jaw movement going on. Yeah.
I have some rope on me. I'm just gonna like stuff some rope in the mouth.
Okay. Yeah, it's now muffled singing because who needs science?
You poo-pooed my gag stuff, man, and you come back to that.
Sorry.
All sorcery, no science today.
I'm sorry.
I did, like on a kind of science point of view, I did have a look at. Apparently, there was a study that was released last year, showing that humming could help prevent illnesses building up in your sinuses because of the pattern of doing it allows a higher rate of airflow and clears your sinuses out.
Okay.
What would normally take about 90 minutes from regular breathing happens in about 15 seconds if you hum for 15 seconds.
I might have to try that later. As
Cool.
Dodgy sinuses at the minute.
Pretty cool.
That is, yeah. Everyone who's been humming now has advantage on endurance cardio.
On sinus checks, yeah.
Wrong sort of plague, but yes. That's cool. Okay, so Aries carrying a gagged skull. You go back into the main room, and Vanya and Cthulhu have clearly like dived up the stairs out of the way of the main chamber, and what was once a beautifully organized full bookcases, you see books all over the floor in disarray. Not all of them, but like a good amount of the books are now on the floor haphazardly, and there are just random gaps missing from the shelves, and it's just a mess. And Vanya from the other side of the room is just like, "What did you do? What the room just okay with everything, and it just I spent 2 years."
I poked a singing skull with a stick.
Why? Why would you do that?
Because it seemed like
why
the source of the problem.
Okay, no more poking. Is that the skull? Does he?
Do you know who this? Do you know who or well, I know where, but who the owner of this skull is?
Do you have any more identifying information than a skull? I'm not that good at like facial recognition, so it's got strong cheekbones.
He
was
was
open-
David
fine.
Bowie?
Wearing
I
old
was gonna
merchant clothes.
I was just going
Mitch.
to open the door wider and see if you could identify via dental records.
But
They're
then,
kept in a different library.
Change to
Merchant
CSI
clothes.
Candlekeep.
Oh, we
and he was with one of the whatchamacalls guys who work here. Also, a skeleton.
avowed.
Yes, there was an avowed.
Okay. I mean,
Behind the
we
wall.
don't let many merchants in. Typically, the merchants that come into the library would be people who are coming and selling books, or if they've got books that aren't selling well, they drop them off, and we kind of repair them. They're kind of adding to the collection. But we haven't had a merchant here in about 600 years. Oh.
I mean, the avowed
Like-
skeleton was very old.
Like fancy-ish, but not super fancy, bro. Like, yeah.
I mean,
Oh
how
dear.
you describe it? I think it was something like that. You said.
Vanya kind of like pauses and looks at Crinkle behind you and is like, it wasn't and then she sees it, she's like can't hear a thing, and she's like, okay, so I might know who that is. So you remember how I was like, oh yeah, way back when there was the whole, singing curse plague thing. It might have been around the same time that a merchant disappeared. And she kind of gets closer to the skull and like looks at it, trying to be like, it was not like.
Well, do you want to just see the rest of the outfit he was wearing?
Oh, and she kind of like recoils. She's like, yeah, go on. Totters off to the room. She's like, probably this will be easier. And she comes back and she is just like ashen. If she was pale before, she is. Okay. Yeah, so that was Yolan. He was a merchant, lovely man. Met him a few times. Stingy, but like he was good. He used to bring books here and would from his travels, and he'd drop them off, and anything that kind of looked like it fitted with what we were trying to build, he'd sell them. He disappeared around the same time as the plague. It was weird. He'd only just got to town when it happened as well. Ooh.
Are there any records anywhere of what he bought? I say in a Welsh.
Are there any records of what he bought? I'm not sure, to be honest. There would be, yes, we would have a ledger in this, and she disappears back into the thing. She brings out this like massive tome.
Okay.
And she's like, this is all of the record of the the ins and outs of the books that we get in. So anything that would have come from him would be here. And she kind of
whatever came in the last time he arrived. Then I guess before he died.
Got 600 years of books to sort through, and she kind of passes you one and then goes and gets two more tomes and is like, get looking.
Okay. I get looking.
Okay. And you can see throughout there is a lot of books kind of coming in, coming out, and being
Are they in chronological order? At least.
Roll an insight check.
21.
Yes. I would find it funny. Yeah, so you can flick back to, and she said I was young, only about 80 when it happened, so that was very early on in my studies. So you managed to go back to the right time, and you see this like list of books, and there is one that kind of stands out to you as within the last shipment that has Yolan's initials next to it, is Shemshine's bedtime rhyme, and you recognize that you read that before on the other
I
list.
snatched that piece of paper from what's it called table and then like get the others to look at it with the pillows on their head.
The gesture.
Yeah.
Who knew
I
this
love
would
it.
end up with a party of mimes?
I'm gonna let the skull read it as well.
The muffled singing just kind of keeps going. There's no super big awareness of that kind of acknowledgement of, oh dear.
So have we figured out that he's referring to that book? Is that book anywhere around? Is it on the table?
Apparently.
So it wasn't on the main stone table in the room.
Okay.
And yeah, from a brief kind of look around, Danya's like, well, I can't see it anywhere. It would be next to, and then she kind of goes back and she's like, the Halfling Horror Stories. What was it called? I don't know. That other book that I made up.
The 6 Years with the Giants or something like that.
Yeah, 3 Years with the Stone Giants. It would be between these two, and it's not there. That's weird. Maybe it's being repaired.
Right.
If Ebdar was working on it, it would be in his books. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's nowhere inherently obvious to you from the main areas.
What is Ebdar doing now?
So Ebdar is still sat at the table humming. He hasn't moved at all
So
this entire time.
Check his pile of books for the rhyming book.
Yeah, so the books that are surrounding him are, some of them are on this list. Some of them, like, he has like 2 piles and like a list in the middle. But the book that Owalwyn has managed to match is not present at all.
It's not there.
No.
It comes to my thought that Ebdar is a fairly fastidious man from what I've got the impression of. But this is a book of bedtime rhymes, and there's a little girl in this place. Might she have picked it up?
Yeah. And I'm going to suggest...
knowing what we know about him and his parenting, he probably didn't notice if you picked it up.
I'm going to write on a piece of paper "creepy girl?" and show it to everybody.
I was just about to say, I can 100% guarantee that doll is what grabbed the book.
Okay.
Gabby 2.0 has the book.
I'm going to suggest that we take a quick break there. So we'll pause and come back in... How long do we break for, Sam?
Do we do 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Perfect. We'll see you all at 55 minutes past the hour. See you shortly.
And we're back. So where we left off, you'd realised that the book was missing. Some of you are aware of the words. Some of you have pillows strapped to your heads. And what you kind of realise that maybe something. Oh, I would hope that you by now you know something funky is going on. But as you kind of have this realization that, hey, maybe we should go suss out downstairs, the apparent glow from the ceiling has disappeared, and you are plunged into darkness. And you hear instantly Crinkle be like, "My fireflies!" Because what Ebda was laughing about way back when is the light that was stored and the light that you've been existing under for the last few hours was actually just loads of fireflies vibing on the top of the ceiling, which is why the storing many lights in the room was very amusing. But it doesn't matter now because all the lights gone out, so you're all plunged into darkness. So if I could know how many of you have dark vision to start.
I do.
I'm going to use my Blessing of the Moonweaver and cast light onto the skull and brighten the room up.
Okay.
Just a gagged skull lamp. The
Gag
newest,
singing skull lamp.
the newest merch that will be on our store soon.
Ah, I love having to explain things about these one-shots to people. Okay. Fantastic. As you go to interact with this skull, Eric, can you make me a charisma saving throw, please? Yeah.
Charisma?
Yeah. Charisma.
And is this charmed again?
Yeah.
Okay. Charisma is not my friend. But it's a 17.
Okay. Again, singing in the back of your head, but nothing too bad. But as you light up the room, can everyone else make me a charisma saving throw?
Charisma. Don't like. Is this a charmed? You said
Yeah.
again.
15?
16.
15.
9.
15.
9. Okay. So you turn the lights back on by lighting up this skull, and the fireflies have actually all disappeared. You can see from the ceiling. It's the only lights kind of coming out of this singing skull that has been gagged. But as you turn the light back on, you see a dark cloak kind of disappear down the stairs, and you see the back of Crinkle. And Kelor, remind me what you're holding, what you're wearing.
Just leather armor. Got a dagger, a sword, a bow.
Okay.
One cloak.
So you're actually going to take the dagger from your belt and swing at Eri.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Let me just roll that attack for you.
Thank you very much.
That is... Please roll the d20, thank you. Oh, that is a natural 1.
Yeah.
My rolls have just been sensational tonight.
Okay. So you kind of take the dagger out of your belt and you swing with like everything that you have at Eri, who just sidesteps you. And you come with so much force that you actually like scram the side of your leg on the down thrust, causing 2 damage to yourself.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can I just interject for a second? Just like there's a great conversation going on in the chat about a song that I now think that we should just say is the tune of the skull, which is Fireflies by Owl City.
I also noticed that in the chat and was very, very pleased with it.
It wasn't, but now it is. Yeah.
Well, we've got lyrics for like the actual rhyme, but
Yeah. I mean,
love
if
it
anyone can put the lyrics from this one shot into Fireflies by Owl City, that would be amazing. Yes, do it.
Nice.
Do it. Yeah, that's the tune that everyone is humming. It's canon now, I've decided. Okay. But yeah, Carol's just tried to attack Eri.
I'm gonna punch her in the face.
That's fair.
Okay, make
I
an
also
attack against Carol.
Because I haven't like heard anything of what's going on. I've just watched this half elf try to swipe me with a dagger, sidestep it, watch them stab themselves in the leg on the downswing. So whilst they're still down, I'm gonna go with a punch with my right hand, and that is going to be a 16 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
You take 2 points of bludgeoning damage.
Nice.
What the fuck?
Carol, you are now like completely back in your senses, beyond the humming and just the innate desire to stab Eri. You have no idea what just transpired beyond your leg hurts and your face now hurts.
I look down at the dagger in my leg and like the bruise I can feel falling on my jaw, and I'm like, what the hell just happened?
You just tried to like shiv me.
Well, that hardly seems like something I would do. Are you starting to hear the song now? Is that what this is? Did you feel left out?
I realise that I'm still kind of miming, going.
It's 2 words, 4 syllables.
It's a movie.
It's Fireflies. Yeah. So you guys are like miming at each other after seeing the thing. Vanya and Cthulhu are like quite far back from you, just kind of watching all of this in abject horror. But yeah, there's. What would you like to do?
I feel like it's pertinent that I also mention having, I suppose I might have tried to attack someone. I should also probably mention that I have a dark, shadowy figure lurking all around. I can't quite look at it directly, but like out of the corner of my eye. So if anyone sees that, please let me know, because I would like to know that I'm not going crazy.
So is everyone still in the room?
So the 4 of you are near the Bribery. I've forgotten what I've called it already. That's its name now. The room that the skull was in. Scriptorium, thank you. Cthulhu and Vanya have stepped just the fuck away from you. And Crinkle is nowhere to be seen, but you did notice them kind of like eat out when the lights were off.
Okay, so Crinkle seemed to have gone off. Maybe we follow?
Yeah,
I see Welshly.
Yeah.
I say Welshly at the end of every sentence.
Yeah.
New science and sorcery
sounds
coming
right.
to a store near you. I say Welshly.
Yeah. Honestly, I would get that on every piece of merchandise possible. Like, unironically, I feel like I need that in my life. Especially with how much my accent like comes and goes. I need it. Okay, so you leave. Yeah, Abdar's just vibing upstairs. Vanya and Cthulhu are like, we're gonna stay. Although you have the light, they're gonna follow. Kind of quite far back. But basically they don't want to be left in the dark. So they're just gonna kind of stay within the vicinity of Eri at any given point. So are you all heading downstairs?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't
Well, we
think
need
I
to find
really know
creepy
what's
dolls,
going on.
so.
Like,
You being dragged.
just following out of necessity, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, Awalin kind of has gestured down the stairs. You before the lights went off, remember you were discussing potentially Gabby, who you haven't actually seen since she got put to bed way back when. So yeah, you go downstairs and you notice down here as well that the eminent light that was kind of on the ceilings has disappeared. So the only kind of source of light that you can see at present is this glowing skull. So you make your way down, and again you are presented with the 7 rooms, the 2 of which that you were kind of assigned. Doors opens, nothing thing. At the far end of the chamber, though, you see one of the doors is slightly ajar, and there is a light kind of coming from it.
I'm gonna head towards the door that's ajar and just like put the skull around the door and just be like, "Hello."
You hear an ear-piercing scream, like something that could only have come from a child, of just abject terror come from within this room.
Are you? It's only us.
From inside of... No, go on.
I imagine... Do I hear the scream with the pillow strapped to my head? I imagine it would just about come through.
You hear muffled screaming at this point. Like it is loud. It is loud, childlike fear screaming. Just no words, pure screech.
I'm gonna bring the skull back out and just like shut the door and turn around to everyone and go, I think there's something bad in this room.
I just facepalm and just open the door.
Okay, you open the door and you see Gabby curled up in the corner, like as far away from the door as humanly possible, because she just saw a freaking skull.
A glowing skull.
A glowing gagged skull.
There is a small child in the corner of the room crying her eyes out, clutching at a doll that kind of vaguely resembles her. But now the difference between the doll and her is that the doll is kind of covered in blood from Gabby's hands. By the side of her, there is a book that is also got blood stained on one side. And behind the door, as you've opened it, you notice a thud and you see Crinkle's body on the floor.
Is it the doll?
We're in a Chucky situation. Is that what this is?
Hey, Gabby. Are you okay?
It was the and she just points like at the skull that Eri is holding, and like tears out again. You hold it up. Crying,
like
screaming, crying, clawing backwards, like what? Never seen anything like this.
My minor illusion has sent shit bar over the skull.
She kind of like, now that she can't see it, she kind of like slowly comes down. She's like clutching the doll with one hand, but she's just like as far away from everything in this room as humanly possible at this point. And she's like, What? Where's my dad? I want my dad. What is happening? I don't like it. Make it go away? And she just kind of keeps repeating that over and over again.
Can I have a look at the Kenku to see if there's any indication as to what has happened to them other than deceased?
Yeah. So if you look at Crinkle's body, there is kind of blood coming from the back of her head, and it's clear that she has been kind of struck with something.
Because I'm an illusionist and have like upgraded minor illusion, I use I can make it just like a sound and visual illusion of her dad's head like popping around the door. Like, sorry, I really need the loo. I will be back later.
Seems legit.
I've
Make a
also just-
performance check.
This is going to go badly. Yep. That will be a 3.
Oh, okay. So you cast this illusion, and from where you're stood, it looks like Abdar has stuck his head around the door and said, you know, I'll be back in a sec. Don't worry, darling. Talk to the nice adults. I'll be there in a second. But from where Gabby is in the room, she can see a disembodied floating head. So you kind of forgot to do the rest of the illusion beyond, you know, perception works. So she is just like now staring, and there is just crying, just like and yeah, that's not helped at all.
Seeing like I'm gonna say that I think that Eddie would have seen that disembodied head as well, and is just gonna go. I'm just gonna add to this a little bit, and I'm gonna use my blessing of the Moonweaver to cast invisibility on myself. And so there's another like floating head.
What are you trying to achieve here?
I don't know. I have no idea where we're going with this. Like we've already traumatized them, so now there's just a floating skull singing with a rope in its mouth.
Okay.
They're going to need years of therapy after this.
Yeah.
At this point,
I just look at the book.
you look at the book. Okay. So you look down next to the traumatized child, and again, like her hands are covered in blood, and the book on the floor, the like top corner of it is also covered in blood that's been dripping down the thing. And as you kind of like look round the side, you see that it's a leather-bound tome that has gold calligraphy on the front that says Shemshine's bedtime rhyme.
I pick it up.
Make a charisma saving throw, please.
I'm seeing if I've got mage hand. No, I don't. Bugger. Pick it up then, I guess.
Yep. Do me a roll.
Is this charm?
Yeah.
That was 8 twice, so total 9.
Yeah, so you pick the book up and you instantly swing at Therius, because with said book.
Okay.
So I would make an attack roll, please.
Okay, so that 20.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should
Of course.
Actually, that one, you get an nat 20.
Okay. So you kind of like lean over and you're like, oh, hey guys, look, it's that. And then both hands, like full on bottom corner either side, whack around the face. And it was completely unexpected. So, yeah, you've just been serious.
Critical book punch.
Stacked in the face. Improv weapon for 4 bludgeoning damage.
4 damage.
Yep.
It's not good for business. I'm pretty. that pisses me off.
Oh no.
Do I realize
Funny
I did that?
No.
Am I still wanting to hit him, or?
I'm gonna let a reaction happen if a reaction is happening, and then let you know.
No, I'm not gonna react just yet, but I am a dampier, and we didn't have meat without dinner. So I'm wondering how hungry, in terms of vampiric essence, am I? Let me just roll a wisdom save on myself. Not very. So I'm gonna bite you back.
Okay.
Having seen this, like you'll just watch as this floating skull makes like a kind of laughing motion with his face, like, with his next jaw.
Okay.
There's a 15 hit.
It would if I didn't react with shield.
Okay.
Okay.
Kind of
from-
wipe my teeth and be like,
Yeah. Yeah, so Alan, from your perspective, you've turned around, you're now holding a book, and yeah, Theseus has just kind of come at you for as far as you're aware, no reason. But you have turned around in the room, so that's like slightly disorienting.
Drop the book, I think.
Okay.
Did some weird shit happen there?
Yes. Okay, so as you drop this tome, it kind of like pops open, and it's weird in that the music that's been playing in your head and the music that some of you have been humming this entire time now starts emanating from the book, and what you realize is it's actually a mechanical sound. It's the book itself is making this noise, and it's not a normal book. It's actually a pop-up book with a little music box in the middle. And from your various vantage points, so Alan, you can probably see this the best, you're the closest. As the tune plays, different images kind of pop up. So it's a wind-up storybook with pop-up things. And the first panel that pops up is a woman kind of stood next to a man kind of scything at wheat until the little figurine kind of turns and attacks the man next to her. The next thing that pops up is a woman and a dog, and then the woman's hand being like brutally bitten off by the dog. The third one that pops up is a boy carrying a large bundle falling into a pond. And then it looks like there should be a fourth panel that pops up, but instead it kind of like jitters, closes everything down, and then starts again. And you are now watching this and listening to this, those of you that can hear, on repeat. And
can I make an Arcana check?
you can indeed.
Nope. 9.
That's
a magic book.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, you get nothing inherently, like, maybe the singing in your head isn't even to do with this book at this point. You're like, nah. It's the kids' pop-up book with a little music box in it. Like,
do I recall when we found the bodies in the alcove, the skull that is now currently gagged and glowing was caved in at the back? Was the other body, was any body parts missing, i.e. a hand or?
Not as far as you can recall, no. The other bodies seem to be untouched.
Okay.
So you said that the book pops up with the 3 panels, and then the last one kind of jutters, so it's not doing anything. Can I look at the book to see if I can see like any kind of mechanical problems that's stopping it doing that?
Yes, you can. And
turn it off and on
I
again.
don't know what role that would be.
Like any sort of investigation or
Investigation, yeah, I think.
Yeah. 12.
Okay, yeah. So clearly the book is broken in some way. It's not doing the thing that it was clearly designed to do, but you can't quite figure out what specifically is broken.
Book's broken. Don't know why, don't know how.
Can I head over to Gabby and just kind of like kneel down next to her and her clearly traumatized form, thanks to Eri. And I'm just gonna like surreptitiously from like behind my back where I have been stashing it, hand her the ABCs of animals. Say, maybe next time this might be some better reading material for you.
Okay. So she has been like just eyes on this floating skull as far as she's aware this entire time. Like, what? Staring in abject. Every once in a while, just like, ah! And she kind of like turns her head, but not her eyes, towards you. notices that you're not apparently glowing, disembodied, or
Gagged.
abjectly evil from her perception, and like just dives at you in a bear hug as you're like trying to hand her this book, and is like just like help. She like takes the book off you and is like, I don't know what happened. I was kind of reading and then skulls and crinkle and where's my dad?
Yeah, about Crinkle. How did that happen?
I don't know. We were, and then I was it's just a book. I like books, and they don't let me touch the books, and I didn't mean to touch the books, but it looked like a good book. And then next thing, you're all here, and there's a skull at my door, and then my dad's lost his legs, and I don't know what's happening.
I'm just going to take a moment, both in and out of character, to process that information.
You're telling me?
It's a lot. I'll kind of like really awkwardly like pat her on the back.
He's very receptive to this.
So you took the book, you opened it, you started reading, and then you don't remember. But then Crinkle was here, but then you don't remember what happens next.
They don't like it when I touch the books, and because they say I'm too young, and I didn't. It looked like a good book for me, and yeah, that's it.
Was it broken when you opened it, or did you drop it?
I don't.
I'm not mad at you. I'm just curious.
I'm gonna get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble.
I think you're okay. I think there are more important things at play right now.
I don't remember.
I took the book.
Oh. Yeah, Gabby is like just trying to deny that she could have done anything that would be perceived as getting her in trouble. Remind me what mending does, or what the parameters.
Repairs a single break or tear in an object you touch, such as broken chain link, 2 halves of broken key, blah 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 blah. As long as the break or tear is no larger than 1 foot in any dimension, you mend it, leaving no trace of the form of damage. It can physically repair a magic item or construct, but the spell can't restore magic to an object. So if it's like something physically that's wrong with it, then it would work. If it's something that's magical, it won't.
Okay. So while this has kind of been going on, yeah, you just stick with the child, I'm assuming, cast mending on this book, and you hear something within the kind of central spine of this thing where the music box is located kind of like jitter around a little bit, and the I'm going to say it gets further through the song than previously, so something has clearly gone in the right direction here, and you hear the first 3 verses kind of play through and the things pop up, and the final piece kind of like half lifts, but then the thing does jutter again and then close. What is interesting about this is that in Carolor's and Walwyn's heads now, the additional bit of song has lyrics.
Okay.
So you hear the first half of the final verse located somewhere. You see the words. You hear the words in your head. See a daughter grinding grain. Wish the spirit's time was through. And I'm going to need Therius and Eri to make wisdom saving throws.
Oh dear, that's an 11.
So 10.
Excellent.
That's the time card.
So, yeah, you're like incredibly proud of this revelation, and you kind of like jump up. But as you do so, you kind of jump backwards into Therius, who is going to try and, yeah, what You bite again. Is that cool? That's within the parameter of a Dhampir. I'm gonna say it is.
Sorry.
Yeah, you grab Oalwyn from behind and try to bite him again. And while, yeah, that's gonna happen.
Okay. Let's try a bite fang attack. That's another 15 to hit.
I'll take the damage this time.
Yep.
That is 5 damage.
Okay. Because at least you get some healing out.
And I heal back. Yeah, so it balances out. Yeah.
There we go. Cosmic justice somehow. But while that's happening, Eri, you actually drop the skull that you've been holding so meticulously this entire time. And are going to turn to swing at Carol. What weapons do you have?
I have
Not a gun.
not a gun. I have some hand axes.
Or if you just had a gun but no bullets, they just pistol whip.
It's just pistol whipping. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, hand axe.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you go for Carol, who is like crouched down towards the child. So yeah, gonna swing at their back.
So this is a little bit of 2-weapon fighting as well. So this is going to be 2 swings rather than 1. So the first one is a 15,
Hits.
and the second one is a dirty 20.
Funnily enough, that one misses.
It is quite strange.
So that is going to be it's max damage. That is going to be 18 points of damage.
What? No.
And please, why would you do this to me? I'm never coming back on this stream again.
I rolled 2d6s plus 3 and it's 2-weapon fighting.
God damn.
Only level 4.
Carol, are you alive?
Oh, I'm alive. Just
You're alive. Okay.
And probably
Okay.
coughing blood on Gabby now.
Yeah. So this has
Even when
happened.
he doesn't mean to, Gabby is being traumatized.
Yeah. So the kid has like kind of hugged at you and is facing you, and all she sees, because are you still invisible?
I think you were.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah, so just
Yeah.
the skull.
So the skull kind of drops, the lighting in the room very quickly changes, and suddenly we've got this like weird uplit vibe happening. And then just blood spitting off the back of Carol.
It's like
This kid
coughing-
needs so much therapy.
It's like coughing blood over the child.
And since I attacked, I'm now popped back into existence again.
Okay.
Pillow round my head, holding 2 axes.
Okay. At the site, Gabby is diving under the bed and is like, no, and just there. Okay. The chaos that has ensued between all of you. Yeah, there is now a child just under a bed, crying. That happened.
We regained ourselves hearing the song now.
Yeah, so what is more, even though you two have pillows over your heads and you can't hear anything, you can now hear the song in your head. So you are as aware of all of the lyrics and the tune and the weirdly jovial Owl City vibes that you're getting, as you all look like David Bowie from
roll
Love
my
Parade.
eyes and pull the pillows off. It's like, oh, god damn it.
Okay, so
It's just vibing.
Pillow chain on.
Yeah.
So it seems the song is sending people on each other.
but it seems like the book is causing it. The book is causing it.
So do we destroy the book, or do we try and fix the book? That is the question.
I say try fixing first, then just try destroying, because we can't really do it the other way around.
It feels like the book's trying to tell us something, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think my theory is that this was just meant to be like help people tell stories by like putting the words in their mouth. Because it's buggered, they kind of get stuck on it.
Makes sense.
So, who's the
Let's
most
try
skilled
and fix it.
book fixer in this place that is not a comatose person?
Yeah, so you guys are all kind of stood in the
you know
room.
I'm
There's a
lukewarm on
child.
books, so I don't know if I can help you.
It's like
so Vanya
shaking
and
something
Cthulhu are
through.
outside.
I'm not picking
Just
it up,
like
though.
you're not picking it up. You're just shaking it. What?
No, I'm not. I'm saying that I didn't pick it up and shake it.
Okay. Well, did you touch the book?
No, I didn't, because I rescinded that before anything happened.
Yeah. It's like in chess. As long as you don't make the move, you're fine. What would you like to do? What are people doing?
Okay. Well, what do I have in my inventory that might be able to help? Okay.
I have a tinder box and set it on fire.
I have a
I can
small
provide
knife.
you
I
with
can
some
found
talking
my
bells.
sword stuff and just sort of like flip it along. I'm not saying I'm doing
Can
that.
we see?
Throwing that idea out.
Can we see what's causing the break? Is it like a missing piece, or like?
It seems to be something in. So the music box is like a proper one of those little like ones that rotate, and then it has the little like mechanical keys that kind of plink for the tune. And it seems to be a gear that's getting stuck towards the end, and then it's kind of jumping a few teeth and then coming back around. But it looks like it's jammed in some way, and like the mending that happened before looked like it kind of shuffled everything better into alignment, but not fully.
I cast mending on it again. See if it does anything more.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know what? Fine. Everyone make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh.
Oh, jeez Louise. Oh, 21.
Okay.
17.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
It's like a 4.
Okay.
Oh no.
So you cast mending on this thing again, and like clearly whatever the first one did, it just kind of shifted everything a little bit more. And the book now plays through. So again, starts from the beginning. You see the mother with the scythe attacking the father. You see the mother getting its hand bit off. You see the boy kind of falling into a pond, and like a weird ghosty face appearing from underneath the water. And then the final scene that you see is a small girl kind of stood next to a grindstone. So large, giant stone thing with a big stone like wheel above it. And you see the top of the grindstone like fall onto what looks like a black shadowy figure. And then the book kind of closes, and then it opens up and plays. And the final verse completes itself in your head. And you hear the words, "See a daughter grinding grain, wish the spirit's time was through. Trap set for the shadow bane, her millstone killed it true." And while you are standing looking at this book and listening to the song in your head, Carolor, you're going to try and attack Eri, who is the closest to you. And we're going to go in with the dagger again. You're going to swing at him.
Just a little stabby stab, yes.
Just a cheeky little stabby stab.
I don't know if he deserves it.
Little
Yeah.
stabby stab. Oh, okay, that's a bit better. That is plus 15.
Oh, that's my armor class. Yep.
Yep.
Nice. So
Roll
that's
for
a
hit.
D4 plus. Oh, nice, of course. 3 damage.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, so you're gonna kind of swing at again, and you're actually just gonna kind of like get him down the back of the shoulder, at his back as he's looking at the book. Weirdly, while the song in your head kind of keeps playing, the next time that everything kind of pops up, you see different things. So the first time around, it was the mother and the father, or man and woman. You gather mother and father from the lyrics, in front of like a house and the kind of farm granary that this thing was at. Now the backdrop of the things that are popping up is bookcases. And the first one that pops up, you can see what looks like a half elf with a bow across them, swinging at something that remarkably looks like David Bowie from Labyrinth. The next one that pops up, again, you can see figures kind of stationary, waiting for instruction. It feels like, but in now a bookstore, in a library. So the backdrops and everything, and each time a little thing appears, you can kind of make out people that kind of look like you in the book. And once it plays through, from the center of the book, a large black shadow appears. And I would like everyone to roll initiative.
Oh no.
Yay!
Sweet. Finally, some action that isn't on each other.
Oh, my first roll.
Well, it's a good time to bring it around.
So what do we have?
16.
17.
19 for me.
5.
Nice.
Will do.
What was that again? Thesaurus and
17.
Yep. And 5. Okay. So yeah, this giant black shadow, essentially, kind of vaguely humanoid-esque shape, but the mist around it seems to kind of be constantly moving. And what light was emitted from this skull has like dimmed massively, just in the presence of this big like black void of space that now seems to be kind of towering, floating in the air. And Carol, feeling like motivated that you weren't, going more insane than you realized, you're up first.
Okay, with that, the shadowy figure, and just having been beaten, I'm going to summon my Drake companion. Because I'm
love it.
a Drake ward.
Love it.
Got to ward them drakes.
So it has acid damage for its draconic essence. Yeah, it's basically just like a little friend, a little guy that I can command. And with my bonus action, I will tell it to run. I'll have its like summon in front of me and then run towards the shadow. And if I can, I will tell it to make a bite attack.
Yep.
Which is a +5 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's roll a cheeky d20. That's a 16 to hit.
Yep. That hits.
That's a 1d6. Oh, I'm finally rolling well. That's 8 damage.
Nice.
Okay.
And yeah, that's my turn.
Fantastic. Okay. So yeah, it's kind of like hovering in the air. So your Drake can't fly or anything. So I'm going to say it literally just bites at its ankles.
Yeah. That was the plan.
Manages to get some damage, it would seem, into this kind of black glowy figure. At which point you were kind of stood far enough away from it that you hadn't got the full, like, everyone else has been crowding around this book that this thing has just appeared from. But you get the sense that it turns, and then you can see like two red glowing eyes kind of like staring you down now because of this. And then it is Theris's next.
All right, let's try a little ray of frost at this guy.
Okay.
Let's see. Ray of frost, 19 hits. Ray of frost does 19 hit.
So this is going to be where my D&D knowledge fails me. They're immune to cold damage, but it would hit.
Immune.
Mm-hmm.
Are they immune? Not resistant.
Not resistant. Yeah. So
it really sucks because I have elemental adept, which means I ignore resistance but not immunity to cold damage.
Oh no.
Yeah. So you cast at this, but it's such a shadowy figure that it kind of just looks like it goes
shadowy cold figure
through it.
that
Yeah.
just absorbs it.
All
right.
Yeah.
I'll try and kind of duck out the door and like get cover behind the door. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you throw an ice cube at it and run away.
Exactly. Yeah. Take that. And then
Fantastic. So yeah, next Shemshine's up. So we're more angry about the yappy thing than we are about the getting cold, getting a bit chilly. So I'm going to need you, Carolor, to make a wisdom saving throw.
Nice. So good at those so far.
It's like we're playing to our strengths here.
That's a whopping 8.
Okay. So
I'm fighting for my life.
you really do be. Okay, so you're going to take 8 psychic damage and just kind of wait there for me for a second.
Yeah, cool. I'm knocked out.
yeah.
I just dropped.
There's no weird
I'm
one
so
for,
sorry.
50 hit points.
Okay. So you don't drop
Oh,
in
okay.
space. At this point, you are going to be. So you were kind of stood up. You think you're going to kind of slump back against the wall, and then kind of freeze, and you're going to be paralyzed.
Okay.
And the rest of you have just seen this thing like kind of turn, look at Carolor, and just gone. And you're just going to start singing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lovely.
just 5 there for me for a bit. Notice is Ari.
So I am gonna. So we're still in this little bedroom, right? Like we're not out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take it. Well, I've still got my 2 hand axes out from hitting Carolor with them. And I'm gonna take 2 swipes at this shadowy being with my hand axes. So the first one is gonna be a 13 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
And the second one is going to be another 13 to hit.
Funnily enough, that also hits.
Yeah. D6s. So it's going to be 12 points of damage. And that's going to be slashing damage.
Okay. Cool. Owalim?
So
Can I do something just before you do that? Sorry, I was waiting
yeah,
to see
sorry.
whether it was
Yeah, that
resistant
hit.
because of it.
No.
I'm gonna use my action surge and take another action and do the exact same thing again, but I'm gonna turn to the book at this point and take 2 attacks at the book.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, roll to hit.
so it's gonna be 15 and a 10.
They hit the book. Yeah.
Okay. The book is gonna take. That's gonna be. Do maths. 9 points of damage to the book.
Okay. So you managed to completely destroy all of the mechanisms inside of this thing. At which point, the book itself kind of like slams shut. Like you've basically like properly destroyed everything inside of it. The book slams itself shut, and kind of flips instead of being face up, now face down. Shemshine, the glowy figure that definitely has a name, is going to disappear back inside as it's shut. And what you notice is on the back of the book, kind of carved into it, are the words, "You need to finish the rhyme." And as it kind of slams shut, falls down, what you notice is there is a black smoke emanating outwards from the book that lunges towards kind of like mists along the floor towards the Animal ABCs book. That starts to get completely shrouded with black smoke, and as the smoke clears, it is now a leather-bound copy of Shemshine's Bedtime rhyme that pops open, and a black glowy figure appears in the middle.
This kid's having no luck.
Yep. Say goodbye to the ABCs.
Yeah.
We'll never know what that is.
I am genuinely heartbroken.
Are you more upset about the book or your character?
The book.
You'll never know about zebras.
Is your dragon thing still up?
Yes. It doesn't go away unless I die, so
Okay, handy.
he's chilling.
Just like kind of pouring at you sadly, being like, yeah. Do you have any other actions, Ari? Are you?
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the figure is now slightly further away from you than originally, but you're still inside of what is essentially a child's bedroom. So, what would you like to do?
Okay, for me now, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I sort of turn to the shadows like, "Beast, you face a wizard of fists," and I like thwack it with my staff.
So was it cause punch?
Okay.
Cast and thwack. Which will probably hit with a 23.
It definitely
Oh,
hits with
God.
23.
Jeez Louise.
And I did max damage, so that's 11 points.
Okay.
One chunky wizard.
Yeah.
And then I will use martial arts to also like roundhouse kick it.
Naturally.
Okay.
Why not at this point? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a 14 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
Nice. And that was also max damage, so that's 7 points.
I love it. Okay.
Louise.
So this big, looming, intimidating, shadowy ghost thing just got smacked around by a Welsh wizard. I love it. It got like thrown back into a wall, which is weird because it's like just kind of hovering, but yeah, and completely knocked it around. And it kind of like slumps down and kind of disappears into a black mist. But then you see this mist kind of like retreat back into the book. The book slams shut, kind of gets engulfed in smoke, reopens, and the figure appears again. So it is.
We need to finish the rhyme.
It is now Carola's turn, who is unconscious, but is not actually unconscious. You, my dear, are going to take a swing at Eri again, who is still standing the
Nice. I
closest
want
to you.
revenge.
Let's return the favors.
That is a 12 to hit.
Oh, that misses.
Okay. Yeah, you're still like sufficiently
Very sad.
paralyzed-ish that you're really like slow, so it, like step out of the way and be like, stop it. Kind of completely indifferent.
Not to
I
cause
guess.
drama, but I could, if you want me to, command my draconic companion
Oh.
as my bonus action, if you so desire.
Yep.
Full transparency.
If it pleases you.
It do please me. It do please me. Yeah, you're gonna in reaction to this, the dragon is also gonna be going for Eri. And what's weird about the Drake is that it's actually like yipping in time to the music.
Oh, no.
So you now have this like draconic bark yip
Nice.
version of Owl City's Fireflies going on. But yeah, it's gonna help you in your attack, please.
Yeah, that's a 14. Not the best.
No, that misses as well.
No,
Ugh. Well let down.
bad. That would have been funny.
Sorry, someone in the chat just said Growl City.
Yes. Yeah.
Sweet.
Amazing. Therius?
I'm gonna go in for peek my head around the doorway.
Yeah.
Go in for an all reliable magic missile. And shoot out 3 dots of force magic, force energy. And 4 plus 2 plus 5. Oh, jeez. I clicked the wrong button. 4 plus 2 plus 5. Force damage.
Okay. There's no saving throw for that one, it's just...
No, it's automatic, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And I'll duck back again.
Okay. So you just like yeet them around a corner and then...
Yeah.
I like this. Okay. The figure kind of like sees this, gets taken in the shoulder and like proper is it Matrix? What's the just getting that and then is going to kind of move not for the door but kind of for where you would be behind the wall, pass straight through it, and suddenly you're face to face with this shadowy figure.
Do I get an attack of opportunity?
Ooh, yes. It's going to be blown past you.
Question.
I was a bit further away from it now, though, so I wouldn't write.
No.
That was 14
No,
again.
it's
That
going.
hit, didn't it, last time?
Yep.
7 damage that time.
Now, for a mathematician, the mental arithmetic of hit points is very difficult in my brain. There we go. I can do maths.
It's a very mysterious stat.
Okay. So yeah, you managed to. What are you doing? Just smacking it?
Just
Okay. So it kind of like stumbles rather than like shadow goes fully through the thing. So Therius, from where you are, you see just like the head kind of like fall through the wall and then like kind of come back up. And it kind of like knocks it out of the way. But it remains inside of the room. Remind me, attack of opportunity. I still have a go now? It's just an Yeah. Okay, so we're going to turn around and face you then. seeing as we're now in your range of Alwyn. No, you're safe. And I am just going to reach out a shadowy hand and a 17 to hit.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just going to place like a shadowy limb over your head. And you are going to take 12 psychic damage.
Oh,
Still up.
bloody hell.
Just.
Yeah. You get full like hand on face with this guy. He's tired of you. But yeah. Right. Eri, it's your go.
Okay, what was the last part of the rhyme?
So the final verse that you are hearing is "See a daughter grinding grain, wish the spirit's time was through. Trap set for the shadow bane, her millstone killed it true." And before the book changed, it was a giant grinding like stone wheel kind of falling on top of this like black shadowy figure with a girl standing next to it, like letting go of a rope.
So it's Looney Tunes-esque then. It's like we need to like drop a heavy thing on top of this being.
Did anyone see a grand
Stone
piano in the
specifically.
previous
Yeah,
room?
a grand piano or an anvil or something like that.
Just a
What-
big
is
weight
there-
of 100 tons.
Yeah, is there like anything heavy in this area, like in the floor that we're in?
So there's nothing immediately in the area you're in. It's a very conservative, like kind of set of chambers that have some standard bedroom furniture in it, but nothing like particularly heavy. Upstairs, you remember there's loads of bookcases and a giant stone table in the center of the room.
I'm gonna grab the book and run.
Make a wisdom saving throw for me.
18.
Yep. Okay. You do that.
Trying
you
to
going?
run back upstairs to like a different area where I can try to make a plan at this point, because staying here and fighting is clearly not working.
Okay. So that uses up. Your
30
turn?
feet of movement. Yeah, and my
Okay.
whole turn.
Yeah. So with that, you can kind of make it up to the stairs, and you're kind of just looking out into the library itself.
Okay, great.
Okay. Owen?
So, having seen finish the rhyme, I'm going to make my own attempt at that. So I'm going to be. So there was a spirit who was a shit, and so I thwacked it with my stick, and and I will.
Okay.
If I need. 17 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
That's 10 damage,
Yep. Okay.
and then I'll do my follow-up unarmed strike. Another 17,
Mm-hmm.
and another 7 damage.
Okay. So you managed to whack this thing.
Yeah.
And for reference, it's only you and Carol are still in the room. Aria's yeeted away. Therius is kind of hiding behind in the corridor, kind of tactfully appearing as and when is necessary. So from your perspective, you have poetically smacked this thing on the back of the head, and you see it kind of stumble again and then disappear into mist. And within the room that you're in, this smoke kind of leaves.
I defeated it, everyone.
Nice job, this.
Upstairs, Ari, you are holding this book, and from kind of the feet around you, like proper horror movie style, you look down and there's just like black smoke around your feet that kind of emanates upwards and into the book in your hands. And you see this smoke kind of like surround it, force it shut. Was it open or shut when you were holding it?
I don't remember. I would imagine that I would have closed it to make it easier to
run with. Yeah, okay. So you just see it kind of like get completely absorbed by this black smoke, and then it forcefully like pops open in your hands, causing you to drop it. And suddenly you are just staring at this spectre directly in front of you.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Pause that for a second. Back downstairs. Well, you're celebrating, and all of a sudden you get something attacking you on the ankles. Carol, could you please make an attack, please, against Owen?
That's a natural one. My second of the evening.
Okay. Having to like.
Don't hurt my friends.
Yeah, the whole like. Do I reward the player or the character? Decisions. Okay, I'm going to say that. Amazing. Okay, so the Drake kind of like from where you were across the room, it was like the other side of the room, sort of to where Alwyn is like having a little boogie to themselves. I'm a poet and I don't even know it. Your Drake is going to kind of like run at their ankles, but because they're kind of like dancing around, it just completely underneath them and like smacks itself into the wall and knocks itself out. Like full on dog on a glass window, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for your contribution.
Happy to.
Yeah. Therius, from your perspective, you've seen essentially Eri run past you like something was chasing it. Celebratory cheers from inside of a room. A black smoke disappear across the floor. What would you like to do?
What is Carolo doing?
So Carolor is still like kind of against the wall, humming to herself in the corner, or singing to herself in the corner.
And how does Llewellyn look?
He's having a boot. He's like, I've done it. I've defeated it. It's all good.
Right, I guess I'll follow Harry upstairs. See what's happening.
Okay. Yeah, so you can make your way up to the stairs, and you can see Eri and this spectre kind of like face to face.
So good. Is it more than 30 feet to get there?
It's about 30 feet because you had to go through the kitchens and the corridor.
Okay, because if it's oh well, I think I have 35 feet anyway, so I can't see it. Is what's on the ceiling in this room? Is it stone?
Yes. So where there used to just be like kind of like light glowing emanating from the fireflies that used to inhabit the room, there is it's a stone cavern essentially. It's been dug out of the ground.
I'm gonna attempt to shoot a magic missile up there and like dislodge a piece of stone and hope it falls on the shadow and not on Eri. But we can only.
I think we're sharing the same spot though, right?
You're gonna make your moves and we're gonna see what the rolls happen. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Would 5 points of damage be enough to get dislodge last chunk of rock?
So I would say it's gonna dislodge summon. And I'm gonna need Eri to make a dex saving throw, please.
16.
Okay. Yeah, so it dislodges like a good amount of like rubble, and you can see that it's just really, it's not super structurally like supported in any way, but it's just solid. But yeah, Eri and also Shemshine managed to kind of like, well, Shemshine just like floats backwards, but Eri, again, very suavely just takes like a step back as this like head-sized bit of rock just falls down on the floor and crashes between them. But it does, however, damage the book that was on the floor directly in front of them. And you see the repeat of the actions from the room below where the book has been destroyed. You see the smoke kind of reform, move to the next closest book, which was, I don't know, think of the title, Halfling Horror Stories, on the table next to it. And that then gets transformed into Shemshine. Shemshine's Bedtime's rhyme. So now the book has moved from the floor in front of Eri to up onto the table.
Oh, that's good though. Like away from me.
Fun times. Fun times.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for me then.
Okay. So it's going to be Shemshine's turn, and I'm going to need Therius and Eri to both make wisdom saving throws, please.
Is this like a charm effect again, just to check?
Yeah.
19.
19 as well.
Okay, so essentially the ghost just kind of like glares at you really intently, but doesn't nothing much happens.
Glare back.
Yeah. Just stare back at it. We're like, die.
Okay. Eridark, it is now your turn. What would you like to do?
So coming back up into, this is the middle floor, right? Back where we are now.
Yeah.
And you said the book's on the stone table.
Yes.
And where in relation to the book is Shemshine? Are they just on top
so
of
they're
that as well?
Yeah, hovering above the book.
What's the heaviest thing in the room that I can see?
Stone table.
It would probably be the stone table, but a full bookcase is also pretty heavy.
Right. I'm gonna, yeah. What I want to try and do is, Darkmar in the chat saying flip the table. But yeah, just a feat of strength. This giant stone table. This elf is gonna go over and do it. No, it's not gonna work. So I think what I want to try and do is get to the book again, and take the book to a bookcase.
Okay. So when you touch the book, I'm going to need you to make another wisdom saving throw. Charisma saving throw.
Charisma.
Yeah.
That's a 17. Rolled an 18 and a 1.
Nice. Yeah, okay. You can pick up the book.
Okay. And then I will make my way to the nearest bookshelf that I can see.
Okay. Yeah, so the table was kind of in the middle of this kind of circular room, and then there are bookcases in the northwest, northeast, southwest southwest corners, kind of like staggering outwards. So you just go to the nearest one, say on the northwest side.
And well, that would be my action, so that would be me.
Okay. Okay. Back downstairs then. Alwyn, you've been vibing. You did see from behind you the Drake kind of like run through your legs into a wall and pass out, and there is still singing happening behind you from Carolor.
I mean, I assume I heard the rock drop from the ceiling upstairs as well.
You can hear kerfuffles happening upstairs, yes.
I guess I'll have to go and investigate this as well then. No, I'll... already defeated it twice.
The cheerful Welsh is great. I love it.
It's fantastic. Okay.
So yeah, so Would I be able to see it when I head up the stairs?
Yeah, so you kind of get to the top of the stairs as well, and you and Theris are kind of standing like quite close to the stairs. You can see Aerodark just like holding a book, standing close to the bookcase, kind of more in the center of the room.
Just like holding and pointing at it.
So, could I attempt to flip the table onto the spirit?
How would we be doing this? But yes, if
Just use my wizard
yeah,
strength.
you can do what you want. Tell me what you're
'Cause
doing.
my spells are pants for combat. Yeah, I'm just gonna
What-
attempt to just like I'm not gonna attempt to like pick it up. I'm just gonna attempt to like lever it over so it just like slams, like roll it on its own side.
Okay, using what?
My wizard strength.
With your wizard.
City strength.
The Wizard of Fists.
Yeah.
You physically running over to this table and pushing it.
Yes.
Okay. Expecting
This is
like
going swimmingly.
some sort of spell, but no. Okay, I mean, I'm gonna need you to make a strength check. I'm just thinking.
Obviously, like,
Yeah.
come on, nat 20. 14, not terrible.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say. You managed to run up to it, give it a bit of a wobble.
Yeah.
But this thing is like hundreds of tons heavy. Like it is a massive
okay.
stone
I
table.
thought it was like a marble countertop type thing.
No, this thing is like, yeah, this is a big
thought so.
stone. Sorry,
Yeah.
I will work on my world building descriptions, but this thing is a freaking heavy,
Okay.
like grindstone-esque stone table. So you run over, Wizard of Strength, and like push it, and like every deadlift you've ever done has prepared you for this moment. But it was still not quite enough. But yeah, you know, just you rocked it a little bit, which be proud of yourself for. I think give yourself kudos for that. Like, good posture, straight back, bent with the knees,
Yeah.
lovely. But
Done all my manual handling.
yeah,
He puts the dead in deadlifting. That's the comment in the chat. Love it. It's just a sequence of the Wizard of Fists never lets us down. The Wizard of Strength has let us down. Comments have been great this evening, folks.
top tier. So many directions, and all of them are surprising.
Yep.
Okay, I'm assuming that's the end of your
Yeah, I
turn.
don't think I can really cram anything else in there.
Yeah,
Just a little help, maybe.
yeah. Okay, it's back up to Carolor, and so the only people left in this room are you and the crying child under the bed.
Oh dear. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
So
Don't
Doll,
think
let's
this
not forget the
through.
creepy doll.
So I'm gonna say that because the 8-year-old child does not have the compass mentis to stop crying during any of this, because why would she? You are going to turn slowly towards the bed, kind
Oh,
of
no.
very, really like jaggedly make your way over, raise the dagger, and plunge it into the top of the bedspread through the bed. I would like you to make an attack, please.
Okay.
And I think my favorite thing about this is the fact that you do the rolls and I have no control.
Would it be a disadvantage because she can't see
Oh
where?
my god.
It would be a disadvantage. I'll give you that. Yeah.
Disadvantage, okay.
Yeah.
The first one I rolled quite well. Okay, it's a 12.
Okay. So you managed to successfully stab this dagger really solidly into the bed itself, and the screaming quiets. And there is silence in this room aside from you singing. And I'm going to bring everything back
that's
upstairs.
horrifying.
I'm going to self-reflect on this later, and I don't know if I'm going to be okay with the choices I've made, but this is what we're doing. Okay, upstairs, you've got no idea what's just happened. Furious, you've seen... Yeah, you're still stood quite close to the stairs. You've seen Oelwyn kind of like run past you and poke a table, and Eri run and grab a book. Shemshine is still kind of stood or hovering above the table itself. What would you like to do?
What do I remember about the last verse again?
So why do I keep closing it? The last verse is, see a daughter grinding grain, wish the spirit's time was through, trap set for the shadow bane, her millstone killed it true. And the figure was the grindstone set up with the two heavy stone plates crushing the black figure.
I'm going to assume my plan was brilliant and it just didn't work the first time, but we can try again. And this time, I'm going to cast a second level magic missile at the ceiling above Mr. Shadowface. So, why are you doing that? Do not do that. 3, 4, so that is 13 total damage to the ceiling above Shadowface.
Okay. Yeah, so you kind of managed to hit the kind of center of the room this time. And it dislodges kind of the where all the rock was kind of coming in towards. So you managed to see a big chunk of it that kind of starts to fall. And as you can see, the cracks kind of like separate out from where you've hit. You notice that it's quite a big area that's about to fall. So I'm going to need a Oelwyn to make a Dex saving throw, please.
Okie dokie. Come on, Dex. 12.
Okay. So this slab of rock falls from the ceiling. And it manages to take out quite a good chunk of ceiling, and it falls straight down, landing on top of the table, but is actually quite a bit larger than the table. So as you were stood next to it, you're going to get smacked in the face with a giant lump of falling rock that's fallen from quite high up. And it's or damage roll. Yeah, you're going to get knocked back with 8 damage.
I am down.
You are down. The center of the room...
Unless I can shield it somehow, but that doesn't really apply to a dex save.
No. Yeah, shield is...
Shield's just AC boost.
No, that's not going to do it. Yeah. So this giant lump of rock has kind of fallen from the ceiling and hit the table, and where there was a ghost, there is now just kind of like dust kind of spreading out from where these two large stones have kind of like smacked into each other. Books that used to be on the table have kind of like exploded. I don't know if you've ever seen a book in a hydraulic press, but like paper is just kind of like shot out everywhere from it. But the curious thing is that the singing has stopped.
Okay, that is something.
So throughout the entire library, maybe your ears are ringing like a little bit, but all of the singing, the skull, Halo, where there was an Ebdar still sat paralyzed at the table, all of the singing has stopped. And there is just silence.
Alright. My movement, I'll make my way over to Owellen. And try and stabilize him if I can.
Yeah. How? Oh, everyone's out of battle, by the way.
We are out of
Sorry,
initiative.
I forgot that bit.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're out of initiative. Just quiet.
If Sirius is looking at Llewellyn, I'm gonna run back
So
down
21 medicine check, which I'm pretty sure will stabilize.
Okay. Yeah. Through your intensive training in medicine, you notice you diagnose him with big thunk to the head.
With rock to the head, yes.
As the technical term.
Blunt force trauma, CSI
CSI
continues.
I feel like Doris is like very good at like tourniquets, just for reasons.
Yeah. You managed to staunch that beautifully. You're like, it's barely gonna leave a scratch. You kind of like, lick your finger as you're going along, but all chill. Aerodot, you running downstairs?
Yeah, I want to go and check on the small girl and Carilla as well.
Okay. You make your way back down, and you can see Carilla just like passed out on the floor. And you hear the tiniest muffled crying from under the bed.
First of all, I want to see if I need to stabilize Carilla. Right, because you were down to 0, so.
Mm-hmm.
So medicine check for me.
I think so.
Cool. Not so great, but it's an 11.
Yeah. I don't know how this works, I'm going to be honest.
I think it's a set DC. I can't remember.
So what do you roll?
It's 15.
You want above 10?
I think it's above
medicine.
10.
Yeah.
We're fine then, 11.
Right.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So aside from needing like many therapies from all the psychic damage, you managed to kind of just be like, okay. For reference, Carol, you were fully aware of what was happening once you'd hit 0. You just were in no control. So you saw everything. Yeah.
The emotional
including,
damage continues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need therapy now.
Yeah.
Not Carol, MJ.
I'm not getting invited back, am I? Yeah.
So after that, we'd want to go and check on the little girl as well.
Yeah. So the dagger is still embedded in the bed, but she is so far into the back corner that it wasn't near her. So she is just like crying, like hands over mouth to stop herself from screaming and like making noise. But she's just like, "Is it over?" And she can see like Carol on the floor, and she's like, "Oh, thank God." Which for an 8-year-old is quite savage. Yeah. The kid is okay. Basically, there was no child death on today's episode of Science and Sorcery.
No kids were hurt during the production of this episode.
So I'll just kind of pop my head under and go, "Hey, it's It's all okay out here.
Where's my dad?
He's at the stairs. We can go and find him."
Yes, please. I want to see my dad.
I'll look around for the doll and just kind of like, "Got your friend."
Hi! And then like more cheerful than she should be, given everything, grabs the doll and is like just chatting with the doll. But we'll follow you back upstairs.
Cool. Head back up.
Okay. So in the center chamber, Sirius is kind of like looking after Owalwyn to kind of stabilize him, and you can't initially see Ebdar from where you left him at the table.
Oh dear.
Because there was a big rock that you dropped on the table where the man was sitting.
Oh dear.
Does anyone like to go look?
I'm still unconscious, I think.
You're still
Yeah.
unconscious.
I mean, after I stabilize Owalwyn, I probably would have let her on for that guy.
Yeah.
What condition is he?
Yeah. So luckily the force of all of the drama that was going on, and also Owalwyn's attempt at pushing the table managed to knock Edbar's chair back out of the way in time. So that he is just kind of lying on the floor. But he is also unconscious. But as far as you can tell, out of it rather
Still
than
breathing.
Yeah, you did
Okay.
not pancake the dad.
We gotta win,
But I did
guys.
wonder
We
if you
gotta
would remember. So thank you for that one. But yeah. So
I will just have a look around and see like how many casualties there were. Is it just the one character?
yeah. So
If I don't
aside
find
from-
anyone else, then I'll cast or Richard cast Gentle Repose on the dead character. And hope somebody can raise them at some point. It ain't gonna be me, but I can stem the decomposition at least.
Okay. So yeah, while you're dealing with that with Crinkle, Vanya and Cthulhu kind of emerge from where they had desperately hidden because, as Cthulhu had said many, many times, not in for the fight-in at all. And they kind of like are helping you, make Edbar comfortable, look after Kayla and Owalwyn, mostly kind of comforting Gabby and trying to process how they begin to deal with that trauma. But they call up to Mary, the matron, and let her know that the improvements to the library might take a bit longer than initially expected. There was some unexpected damages to not only incredibly valuable books, but the building itself. So like things are gonna take a little bit of time, but on the whole, everyone is okay. And that is where I will leave this bedtime story. Thank you for playing.
Horrifying bedtime story.
I'm not sure that counts as a bedtime story, Kat. I think you've given everyone nightmares.
Is that not what you all grew up with? Just happy.
Are you one of those Grimm's fairy tales families?
No comment.
No, I really enjoyed watching that. I hope everyone had fun playing. How was that? Yeah,
It was
It
great.
was fun. Yeah.
enjoy your first science and sorcery experience, MJ.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I almost killed
very
a
good.
child. I almost died myself. It was great.
That is the chaos we guarantee here. Thank you
It's
very much to everyone.
the most PvP I've seen in a D&D session ever.
We've had more PvP in sessions, but on purpose. This was accidental. No, this was wonderful. We'll need to have you all back on.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe we've had some offers to DM from certain people on this call as well. Yeah, I think we'll need to have you on as a DM too. This was fantastic. I really enjoyed watching it. I'm sure the chat did as well. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for donating. If you donated, Just Giving will be up for the rest of the month as well. Thank you for putting that link up again, Sam. And right before we wrap up, MJ, where can people find you? What is it you do? Can people pay you for art? I don't know.
They can if they so desire. I occasionally will do a commission or two. My Twitter handle is at MJAnders98. Yeah, I can. You DM me on Twitter, I can certainly discuss that with you.
Yeah, MJ's art is fantastic. If you haven't seen the art for Search for the Mirror or Path of Destruction, which MJ did the art for both of those, some of my favorites, I think. Or Sanford, Alex's old man Captain Kirk ripoff, and my very own Dr. Turnip. Just absolutely brilliant. Yanas, how about yourself? Where can people find you? What do you
can
do?
find me at Geekoscopy on Twitter. I used to run a science communication podcast that's on hiatus, but coming back soon. It's at Geekoscopy. It's on my hat.
Yes.
I also run a marine science podcast in South Africa called Agala's Current Affairs. And yeah, it's pretty much the two spots you can find me at.
And maybe in the future you'll be back here. Hopefully.
Sure,
I hope
if you
so.
invite me, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you want to come back after you've been introduced to our friend of chaos. It's not just
it was
you,
mostly
Kat.
okay for me. For the vampire who's also a wizard, this was normal. This is another Tuesday.
And our fantastic DM, Kat.
I hope the
The
dear
chaos
friend
is
of the
not
show
your
still.
fault. The chaos is not your fault. A little bit, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard stories about you lot attacking each other, and I was like, I feel like this plays into that very well, and it means I don't have to keep control of people.
Life. When Sam and I meet up, we just
Yeah.
roll on.
Just Mortal Kombat themed plays and.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Just attacking people with sticks while saying rhymes at them, I'm sure, are everyday occurrences. But yeah, you can find me on most socials under Kat Does Maths, especially on Twitch. I have my own Twitch channel and I do maths communication as well as study streams and attempt to prove that maths is fun for the real world. So
it is.
Yeah.
We've done Maths D&D with you before.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
That was good.
Alex, anything to update? I know we see you here like every week.
I am always here.
Just can't get rid of you.
Yeah,
which is good. Which is good.
Reappear. No, just normal place. Come buy merch.
We'll get some merch of wizard with fists. Maybe fist wizard.
No, I
low head squad.
I'd really like coasters that is like, do I have guns? Do I fuck? Like I'd like to see that on my desk.
We've had several good quotes.
There's some really good quotes today.
Yeah.
I want a mug that says "said Welshly." I need that in my life.
I'm sure we can arrange that.
Yeah, as a South Walian that doesn't have an accent, I need it. I cannot describe how badly I need this. So.
And Sam, how about yourself? Any updates, social medias? Before I get to the science and sorcery shit.
What?
Sorry,
I've been upstage. I've been upstage.
MJ, you have to introduce the cat now.
That's Loki. He's a little rag doll.
Yeah, that makes sense. That cat's name is Loki. Carry on, Sam.
Other than being back here next Wednesday and railing against capitalism even further, I'm going to be starting up like properly streaming video games very shortly. Cozy games, but also like starting to just destroy myself all over again with The Last of Us, most likely, to coincide with the TV show. So that'll be coming. So yeah, I'll be setting up on another Twitch channel.
Exciting. And you can find me on Twitter at DJ Vaidman. Not that if you enjoyed my content in the chat, that's the shit I post on Twitter too. And you can find me here again on Wednesday with Sam and Alex and our wonderful friends Danny and Hannah for the 3rd episode of our current mini campaign, These Lands Call for You. We last episode spent an hour talking about terms and conditions and talking to plants. Before my character ate a poisonous plant, which Sam wasn't expecting, which, given everything he's done today, he absolutely should have expected. So we'll see what happens next time as we try to save some dragons from a horrible magic DDT plague, which is our current guess for what's happening. And next month, we're going to have another one-shot, another charity one-shot, which will be on the 24th of February, I believe. So keep an eye out. Is it on the 24th? Is it still on the 17th?
I think
Which one have we moved because of St. Patrick's Day? Is that in March?
March, yes.
Okay,
March
yeah.
is St.
I don't
Patrick's
know
Day.
when St. Patrick's Day is. On the 17th of February, we'll be back here with another charity one-shot. And so keep an eye on our social medias for information on that. We're on Twitter at SciAndSorcery and everywhere else at Science and Sorcery. And we'll see you soon. And I hope you had as good a time as we all did.
There's one last thing. Next time you see us, our production value is going to be much improved. It's going to be
we're firing Sam finally,
which is it. Yeah, there's a prick
this one's for real,
Gary
guys.
is coming in.
Yeah, we're bringing Gary.
This is
back.
my last.
It's a hell of a way to announce that you're leaving. Is the production values going up?
Yeah. Goodbye. And on that note, shall we end there?
If you want to see what these characters look like, Alex will be working on art for all of them over the next couple of weeks. So those will be posted on Twitter when they're ready. But other than that, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us, and have a great night, everyone. Good night.